Alright. It's Diamond Part 3. That's right. I say Part 3, which means Diamond 1. Kind of, we're going to be running into some Masters players today. We're going to be playing against players of all different skill levels from Diamond. We might get some people who are still in kind of the upper end of Diamond 2, but mostly Diamond 1 players and Masters 3 players today. And we're going to start with the TVT here on Equilibrium, guys, against the Fighter. I feel like you might be wondering, what's the main focus? And it's all about much smaller nuances now. It's not like, oh, okay, guys, today we're learning how to swap add-ons, like we were doing up to Platinum. It was like kind of gradually stacking mechanics on top of each other. And whilst we are still doing, variations of 1-1-1 openings, we have now kind of simplified things a little bit. Or not simplified, sorry, but we've started adding just lots of little details to really round out the styles and make them better. We're also doing a lot more flexible scouting with like our Reapers and everything like that. Now we want to take our 3rd, 4th, and then 5th in that formation. Remember, you want to pull one off gas as well, guys. If you can, rally your worker to the inside. That's always great as well. We're just going to turn off that simple command card. You might be wondering, why does the simple command card turn itself back on? The reason is, it's game design, modern game design. They're like, StarCraft's too complicated. They're like, we need to make it so the game doesn't intimidate people by having actual commands be visible. And you're like, I hate this. But anyways, we're going to scout for proxies like we always do with this SCV while building a Reaper. Got the orbital on the way. SCV scouts come in. Next up, we want to go factory. A few seconds late on that. Could have been faster. And then we want to pull off another one to build a depot. Then we want to pull off one more as well. Because remember, guys, we want 2 on one gas, 1 on the other.
Command center has
Build
been
SCVs
upgraded.
and mules. And I kind of want to chase that guy down, but it's not really the priority. And remember, our Reapers need to check for proxy barracks over here. Our SCVs check for proxy like Marauder. Anything like that down around there. We're going to check up here and then run home. Still building more SCVs, guys. And remember, once our command center's down, which we'll do with this guy, we can put back on gas very quickly, okay? Adding that to our hotkey, centering the camera location. Putting guys back on gas. Getting a reactor. We're going to build a Hellion. Remember, the reason for building the Hellion was because we really want to get the starport started as quickly as possible. And if we build a Cyclone first, we don't really have the money for that. So we're just going to stay in that middle area. And we want to build a depot over here just to get warning of anything jumping into our base. Oh, SCV just ran back in. I was like, man, I hear fighting noises. What's happening right now? Now we can build the Cyclone. And we have been playing incredibly defensive in our TVT. As I said last week, we can scout a little bit more if we want to. The reason I haven't is because I would say, in my experience, this is the most solid way to do it. It's just so safe. If you stay at home, you really don't give any chances to get caught out of position or anything like that, and it really helps you out. And if you want, every now and then you can kind of poke out front to get a little bit more info. You can try to pull back the weak unit there. And you can even do things like this. Okay, I forgot to build the gas on the natural, guys, so there was a mistake there.
Add-on is up and running.
Build a tech lab. A Raven. Keep building SCVs. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and send these Reapers across the map. Just to get a little bit of scouting. And make sure we put these guys on gas straight away. Okay? These guys all here. Keep building SCVs and mules. And remember, at this point, we really want to have Gary building depots non-stop. We don't have a lot of money, so trying to queue up, make sure get at least 2 SCVs. And let's just poke in with these guys, see if they see anything crazy. It's always nice to get some info. We did forget to get interference matrix. Let's start that now. And there's a medevac coming. Look at that. Scouting is good, guys. Scouting is good. So we're just going to queue up to attack a bunch of these SCVs. Everything else is going to go up here in the main and get ready to try and stop that drop, okay? Now we keep building depots. I'm not looking at the Reapers because I know it's a bit too much, to kind of worry about. Cyclone, obviously, I want out front because it can lock on the moment that stuff comes into my base. And there we go. He's watching it. Well done. So we're just going to leave the Cyclone there. Everything else will come back to the natural. And I'm going to build a 3rd Raven because I forgot to make interference matrix, guys. we need to sit on that for a bit longer anyway, so we might as well keep building SCVs and mules. So 4 SCVs, mules. We can now finally afford that third command center we've been waiting on. And third tank. Yeah, third tank can come out. Gary's just going to keep building depots there. We get a little supply blocked, but it's not the end of the world. And remember, we just want to follow our standard order. Let's send a Hellion out to the watchtower and a few Marines forward, guys. And the Ravens are all going to go on a separate hotkey. We can now swap the starport on the barracks. At the same time, guys, we can also go 1, 2, 3, 4 barracks and then 2 engineering bays in a bit. Still building tanks. Alright, guys, so he came in with his double cyclone drop. Bring these guys up here. Build lots of SCVs. And we used an auto turret as well. Not able to kill it, but it is what it is. So guys, what are we doing? We're grabbing a bunch of SCVs to keep building. Get the hotkeys going. And we rallied back to the main because we just lost so many guys. Okay, now that we've got our buildings all building, we're building lots of SCVs. We've got the upgrades going in a moment. We're going to move across the map. So we're going to move across to our staging point. Our rally points are there. Let's get +1 started. 4th gas. Just put on that straight away. You might be wondering why. And oh, let's get an orbital as well. I think it's pretty obvious, right, guys? We want to focus on our aggression and not much else. Okay, so there's Reapers coming in right now, guys. I don't know where exactly. Cancel all that. Okay, guys, we need to focus on our macro really hard. Build the armory if we can. Build lots and lots of SCVs.
Command center has been upgraded.
And let's scan ahead. And we're just going to interference matrix that and then drop as many auto turrets as we can. So that was just an A move, siege the tanks, and then interference matrices. I didn't see that tank up there, otherwise I would have auto turreted it. Now he's actually got enough units to defend this. If you want, you can try to start a step. Trying to make sure I kill that Raven, because there was a Raven on red hit points, guys. Alright, let's go to our third, rally everything there. Lift it up. Take the gases. Gary and Bruce building depots, as well as an armory in the main. Lots of Marines, tanks, and we're going to make 2 medevacs and then nothing but Vikings from there. You can choose to go and ignore the Viking count if you want. This is something I didn't really explain too much last week, so or in the previous 2 weeks, so let's explain it now. It's way better for mass Marine advantage and mobility to basically just have medevacs. Because you can heal, you can drop. But if it's a static situation, having the Vikings obviously is great because it allows you to have the range advantage with your siege tanks without having to scan. Build a 4th base, as well as a bunch of other cool benefits. Now, guys, I think we were generally going 2nd factory before 4th command center, so that's a bit of a mistake taking that 4th command center so early. Let's get the 2nd factory now. It's a little late, but it's just after it. It's not the end of the world. Build a few more SCVs, a few more mules. Lots of Marines, build a tank, build Vikings. Because remember Viking production now. We already built our 2 medevacs. That's all we need for healing. Now, behind this, we want to finish the macro cycle. Gary and Bruce build 2 more depots. And now, what do we do in between macro cycles? We build +2 weapons, +2 armor. I don't know why there's a SCV up there. Maybe it's just a scout. Oh, we're sending a few Marines out, by the way. Amazing.
Mineral field depleted.
All right. Vehicle weapons as well. All right, guys. More Marines, no more tank. Get that as well. More Vikings. I don't actually have enough money for the tank, so we're going to start the tank, and then we're going to build, once again, 2 more depots. As we get closer to max, we get closer and closer to the point in the game. Control-click the Vikings and shift to them. Right-click them on a tank. Someone was asking, how do you get them to follow a move? There's no such thing as follow a move. They will not fight until they touch the unit. If they've touched the unit, they'll stop and fight other things, but otherwise they will just be following it. And that's just from a right click, so that's nothing special there. Now, because we're taking that top side, guys, we're going to build turrets there and then sensor towers. And we're going to move out to the middle watchtower and try to secure that, because I think that's really important. Lots of tanks, lots of Marines, lots of Vikings. We're going to take half of that 3rd mineral line up there. Send it up to the 4th, take the gases. And you can see how our map vision is really paying dividends right now. So we can scan ahead and just make sure we're clearing up his map vision. I'm going to send a Marine up top to that top base, make sure he's not expanding. And behind it, I really want to make sure I'm finishing macroing. So just making sure everything's good. Remember, we need 8 barracks to round out our production. More Marines, more tanks. I'm just scanning the front. If there's a big red blob coming for me, I'll be very afraid. But otherwise, we're just going to make sure we're still building tanks. I'm not even going to bother with the Vikings because we don't have enough time to wait for that. Add to our army. And the last 2 depots that we'll probably need this game. Alright guys, let's put these guys on. Just continuing to scan the front here. And the left. So this command center is easy pickings, guys. Now, bringing this army to the front is a little risky. Don't get me wrong. We're going to try and stem to that left side. Notice I'm just scanning everywhere. And we're just going to try and fight here. But if there's more tanks, we might need to pull back. So we're going to pull back, guys. Oh. Hold position, those Marines. He's got more Vikings than me. Oh, or does he? We've got more Vikings coming in, actually. So it looks like we can win the fight. Now, remember, once you've got them kind of contained and stuff, that's fine. We can just pull back. And what are we going to do? 3-3. Vehicle weapons. Make sure the hotkey's down here, by the way. Add these to the hotkey. Reactor, reactor, reactor. Marines, tanks, Vikings. That's what we're doing. Box these guys all together. Now, if you want to progress that macro, that's totally fine. But remember, just grab half of this base at about 11 minutes. Send them there. Idle workers. Send them there. We could build a depot, actually, since we're not quite at supply. And if you really want, you could also just be like, okay, I'll build a 5th base, right? You can see, look how annoying my Marine spotters are being. Let's move north to make sure we can intercept him, guys. It's going to hang around the watchtower, okay? Box these guys, shift 1. Vikings, shift 2. So what are we missing? Well, if the game gets static, we always want to make sure we have starports, guys. So if you can build extra starports, it just means it's easy to win the air war later on. Now, he's not defending that, guys. So we can just basically just dump these guys in that position. We're just going to siege our tanks there. And we're just going to leave this drop on the top. And we're just going to keep building Vikings and tanks. I'm not even building Marines now, because I feel those units are probably more important. Nothing's happening, guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to leave 2 tanks there. Everything else. So I've shift-clicked them and deselected them. And then these guys are just going to hang here, right? Everything else is going to move down south. Now I'm low on scans, so if you start floating money, reactors on there. Another way you can get ahead, if your opponent's being very passive, so that you don't need too much pressure to go kill them, just go build 4 or 5 command centers like that. And those will turn into orbitals, and that is a really good late game advantage. Alright guys, so this army will get taken out, but that's alright. If he's up there, he can't also be down here, right? So we're just going to move in with our Marines. We're trying to just fight there. Now, we did go a little bit far forward. I will admit that. But look at this. We've isolated him, so grab the bottom ones. Move them left. And notice he's got mass medevacs. So we're going to start building Liberators. Oh, those units just derped in. We're trying to move to the left. The Vikings there. And we're just going to put these Vikings on patrol. Nice. Okay, guys. Let's go. +3 vehicle weapons, more Marines, more tanks. These Vikings can land. More Marines, more tanks. And the reason we're building Libs is once they stop building Vikings, all you need is enough Vikings to win the air fight. A few more Vikings than they have, and that's it. And with your attacks, it's all just about move forward, siege an annoying position, and then let them deal with it. Now notice we've got all these command centers, guys. Control click, add to control group, and hold down the orbital key. That is massive, man. Because I never got that big an economy. We're sitting at 66 workers. Let's rally to the front. Let's grab this big army, and we're going to push that north side. We can also land a Viking in the mineral line, but I'm pretty sure he's been stuck on 3 base for most of this game. So we should be in a really good spot to finish things off. So we'll just send a Marine up top, actually, and otherwise we'll just reinforce this position here. And that single Viking makes it really awkward for him. Alright guys, let's just control-click the idle worker button. Go down there. And every now and then just take a new command center and keep turning those into planetaries. Pull these Vikings back if you can. Now, obviously, if you've got this many libs, it's more than you need. So what we're going to do is I'm just using the minimap. Shift-click, siege. Shift-click, siege. So just to show you guys what I did, we just clicked it to siege that base as well. We've still got a few libs here that are going to be really annoying. And they can kind of siege like this on the top.
Nothing left in that
And then the rest of this army is going to be able to move. Oh, actually, no.
Mineral field depleted.
I didn't realize you had tanks right there.
Command
Okay,
center
never
has
mind.
been upgraded.
Let's try and move these tanks forward a little bit. We did accidentally move in range, but it is what it is. Still building more tanks, Vikings, libs behind this. Maybe a few medevacs as well would be nice. And we're just going to stim to the left, see if we can overwhelm. There is a tank there fighting on the north that I didn't notice, and that's going to hurt me a little bit. And just kind of trying to keep eyes on this fight. More Marines are building. That base is still being denied. Oh, he has a base down there I didn't notice. Okay. But notice this Liberator. You always want to have it not too far in front of the tank, so if he stims forward, he gets hit by your tanks. And it's just a way of pushing into scenarios that you might not otherwise be able to. Control-click idle workers, click them down here, set all of our rally points there. And look, we can drop mules, we can do all sorts of things now. Unsiege, if they're ever trying to bomb on top of you guys, always try to unsiege. I'm building lots of Marines, lots of tanks. He's doing really, really well, actually. He's doing very well to hang on. Shift 2, come to the front. Okay, we're going to siege that up. This Liberator is going to come down here and then siege on that base like so. And each time I control a Liberator like that, you're going to notice I dump them. So I throw them onto that 0 key. You guys know my dumping key, where I just have a button I press and it just basically control groups them on a key that I have no intention of using. Now, if you really want, you can also go double armory in the late game. It's really nice for TVT because it allows you to just go double ship weapons and win your air fights even harder. But let's try and just annihilate this base, shall we? Inch these tanks forward little by little, guys. Do you have tanks back there? Oh, no tanks. He's out of money, guys. So we can just take this fight. We can just pull back from there. Move the tanks forward, get a control of the area outside of his base. Oh. Siege the tanks there. Alright, try and move a tank down. More Marines, more tanks, more Vikings. Another thing you never see pros do, but I really think is great. Go up to 4 factories. Just more tank production. Just gives you a lot of safety, a lot of flexibility. And it looks like he actually has some bio down here. So we're just going to kill those guys. Great job by Fighter to have 3-3. He's doing a good job of hanging in there. Just remember, a lot of people get very stressed in these sort of games. But if you've got good map vision like me, you're zoning out the edges with turrets there. That's one thing we did miss. We didn't build turrets on the bottom. You can also, if you really want, just build like turrets out on the map to kind of intercept drops before they get to you. That can be really nice. Control click idle workers, put them on gas. Control click the factories. Lots and lots of Marines, guys. Marine production's the easiest thing to just keep up when you're ahead to win games. We're going to try and move that forward. We're just going to try and keep moving these tanks forward, guys. Oh. That was a misclick accidentally going forward there. So notice we're moving the tanks forward in a nice little lovely arc, kind of contained.
Upgrade complete.
And we're just going to inch the Liberator forward just a little bit at a time to slowly kill his stuff. We also can grab one of our next tanks, or these two, and put them here in range of his planetary to slowly siege that down. And this just checkmates him ever so slowly. Unsiege the Lib, siege it there. Unsiege the tanks, move it there. And if you're worried about counterattacks at all, just make sure you leave your units at home. And as long as you keep building units and you always leave some rally at home, you should be good. Stim, A move. And remember, guys, just move forward here so they don't get stuck behind the tanks, and then you should be good. GG, well played. Really good macro. Good macro, man. Fighter was behind for a long time in that game, but just really methodically moving forward and setting up positions. And don't get me wrong, I'm showing you guys a very big kind of macro-focused way of doing it. There are points where you can simplify this game plan. And I think some people find it stressful playing to the stage that I did here. Other people find it stressful trying to force the win condition on the opponent. And it's up to you what you choose to focus on as a player. You're in Diamond now. If you're watching this video, you can't be like, well, tell me what to do, Pig, because it's going to come down to your preferences as a player, and it's all about developing skills. That's what StarCraft is. So let's go back to one of these earlier points in the game, and let's kind of talk a little bit about, okay, well, what could I have done here to finish the game a little bit quicker? Well, this was a great push for me, a really good fight. You can see it in the units lost tab. I'm several thousand resources more efficient. I shouldn't have taken that first Viking fight, by the way, guys. That's a really good one to focus on to start. Let's take a look at this. So if I paid attention, I would have said, oh, he's got 5 Vikings. I've only got 4. That's a no. Remember what we always say, guys, pattern recognition. We go, that's a no. But obviously, I was focusing on the ground fight. I wasn't really thinking about the Vikings, so it is what it is. What is your dumping hotkey? To be fair, I'll be honest, I don't actually just press one button for dumping, guys. I use the core, so I use the right side of the keyboard, but it's my full stop hotkey. So I go like control full stop, and I count that as my dumping key, because I never actually select full stop to select the units. That's also technically not true. I have a few times in very weird situations of like super late game scrappy Zerg versus Terran. I think I might have used it once or twice as like a little counterattack squad when we were fighting in literally 6 places at once and I was running out of control groups, but 99.5% of the time I don't ever actually use it. But I've advised you can use spacebar. Yeah, full stop is period. Yeah. No, for us, where no. For us, if you start talking about periods, people start thinking of tampons and stuff. It's a different type of period. So anyways, yeah, we call it a full stop. Anyways, yeah, we could have grouped up a little bit harder. Notice also my marine production here was not super consistent. So this reminds us just how much, if you hold the marine key down, you can queue way more marines. You can be like fucking at least 4 marines per barracks each time you queue up marines. So you can see here that it's like, hey, I took a moment to build all this production and stuff. That's cool. I could have done a better job of just constantly building marines and having an overwhelming army. Like I could have probably just won by having way more stuff. But notice how there's a sort of rhythm. I push forward, I deny a base. I take a good fight, I unsiege, I rotate, push forward, deny a base. I unsiege, and I just keep looking for awkward angles. So it's always very annoying as the defender, because if he gets caught out of position and say I get my tank sieged up here and cut him off of his bases, he's got a crazy emergency. He has to scramble to not lose the game. So by keeping your army rotating from side to side, it's really good. And I do sometimes like to leave these little forces out on the map where it's like, okay, I'll just leave a pack of marines and tanks. And you can leave a much bigger one than this as well, is totally fine. Luckily I was watching, so we just killed his 2 liberators. And whilst he does clean this army up, that's fine, because as I said, we're actually getting forward at the same time. Now my marines went a bit far forward there, but we do kill a command center, which is nice. And most importantly, remember what I said, if we section off his base, it's really stressful for him. So you see here, he should have done a follow-up scan. That cost fighter quite a bit, but looks like he's been muling a little bit too much. He's actually out of scans. This happens when you're on the back foot. It's really hard. If you run out of scans for a moment and you lose air control, you get really screwed. So this is great. But look at my production again, guys. Notice, yes, I'm building 4 command centers, but we definitely could be more consistent with our marine production. And you got to realize that with 8 barracks of marines, you can queue up thousands of resources and minerals so quickly. Like you can spend your money like crazy. Obviously with like the Viking land and everything, this is game over at this point as well. So I definitely should have just been like, hold the marine key down, grab new army, move forward. Because I was talking you guys through build 2 more starports. You can get a second armory for air upgrades. Remember to make all 4 orbitals, extra orbitals, so that you've got unlimited mules and scans. You know, we're walking you through things a bit more slowly and methodically, and it's important because I just wanted to basically show you, you don't have to be like, I gotta kill him, we gotta kill him now. Like, I just wanted to remind you guys that's like, you don't need to be as focused on that stuff. You can basically take your time with it. All right, let's go. We've got ourselves a TVZ here. A TVZ up against Skippy Joe. Now, Skippy Joe's only a 3700 MMR player, so on the lower end of the players we'll be playing against today. That's all right. Build ourselves that depot right on time. If you want, you can try to double up these workers on the close mineral patches. You see, that's just a little bit closer, not a big difference. Whereas these guys already 2 on each of those. Now we're going to be doing that 3 command center into biomine, and we're going to be doing the 8 racks play as we've been doing lately. Lower the depot, start the barracks, immediately go for the gas. Dude, did I accidentally stop 2 SCVs there? Oh, I must have accidentally pressed the stop command when I was just showing, hey, these guys. Oh, so I accidentally stopped the mining on 2 of those workers, guys. That's going to slow my build down a little bit. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. This guy's going to go across the map, check if it's pool first or hatchery first. And let's try and fix the build up from there. So like I said, you go there and then come home. And the 19th worker can rally down to build the command center. Exclamation mark B2GM sign up. We'll be accepting anyone to Masters 3 today. So I put the MMR in the B2GM sign up command. I think it's up to like 4480 MMR. So I don't want people in like Masters 2 and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit too high for Diamond Part 3, but having people in that Masters 3 range should be just fine. Alright, so we can go across the map, guys, with our Reaper.
Command center has been upgraded.
Build orbital, build mule. Like that, guys. Notice the hatchery was about to finish as the Reaper's popping out. So the Reaper can go across the map, we can A-move it. Remember, we don't want the second gas here. This is Gary, he's going to build the factory in a moment. We can send this Marine down, try to get some damage on that. We don't really care about him seeing the factory. And remember, queue up an extra couple of SCVs. Queue the Marine to just chase him off, build a reactor. And you always want to start that reactor, guys, before starting anything else. Before starting the Reaper harass. So I'm just going to do a little bit of in and out here, guys. If you do focus fire the weak Zerglings, that's really good. Notice I clicked it and then we run away. Go home. You always do the same thing when you go home from this, which is build your 3rd command center. And our Reaper's just chilling. Now, our Marine actually got that Overlord kill, but if it had hidden on a pillar or something, he would have automatically ran back because we'd queued it up.
Add-on complete.
We're going to go starport 2nd gas. Make an orbital there. Keep building SCVs. Now, if you guys often struggle because these Hellions are delayed with Zergling run-bys, you can go 2 Hellions and then build the starport and the 2nd gas. That slows down your Liberator timing a little bit, but this is something... I was watching Clem vs. Dark yesterday, and Clem kept doing this. And the reason he did that is Dark loves to rush Ling Speed and try to run 6 Zerglings into your base the moment Ling Speed finishes, and he'll even purposefully avoid your Reaper on his side of the map. And if you aren't building those Hellions straight away, those Lings have about 10-12 seconds to kill a few SCVs, mess up your build, and then cause you problems. So just a kind of little bit of understanding of the way that can be adjusted on both sides based on what's happening. So notice we see creep. You want to make sure there's no creep spreading for free. It's got a creep tumor there. Just pull these guys back. All right, guys, we're going to make an orbital. Lots of SCVs, mule, Hellions. That's our macro cycle. Except, wait, what's the last bit of the macro cycle? You guys know it's the depot. So Gary's going to start building depots. I think we're going to rally the lib down the left. And what's next? Well, we didn't build the tech lab yet. That's a mistake, guys. Nothing else I can really say about that. Let's build these 2 barracks here. Keep building SCVs and mules. We can go reactor, and then this can also lift off and build a reactor. Awesome. Alright guys, so we've got our Hellions here. Now one thing people pointed out to me is Lings can run in when your Hellions go across the map. But if you build these 2 engineering bays, that's not possible. So you can do that, and it makes you nice and solid. So my Hellions move across, lots of SCVs and mules, Marines, stim, and let's go in. So the Liberator can come in from the back, do that nice siege up about there. And then our Hellions are going to attack this right side at the same time, okay? We can also build 2 depots. Lots more SCVs. And that's it. Build a reactor. Let's do it. Okay, let's go in now, guys. We've got 20 seconds of micro now that we just queued up a lot of extra macro there. And we're kind of surrounded by these lings. But we're going to try and fight. Notice we're going to shoot in that choke point. I can even put a grenade there. But we didn't really get that much damage. Now, if we want to move that Liberator, we could. But I'm going to assume you guys don't know the multitasking for that. And let's more importantly focus on our macro, okay? Start the 1-1 upgrades. Bring these guys to the inside of the wall. Let's get stim, build some marines, start building Hellions. Remember, if you throw your Hellions away, it's better to do it that way. 2 more barracks. Keep building SCVs, even though this is oversaturated, that's fine.
Add-on complete.
And remember, we want everything down here.
B2GM.
Lots of Hellions, lots of Marines. And then it feels weird having this base so oversaturated, don't get me wrong. It feels weird for me as well, guys. But now that we've got some Hellions out, I think as long as we keep them in this choke point, we can risk basically moving all of those guys there. Alright, let's go for a supply drop here, because I am supply dropped. Gary and Bruce are going to keep mining. Looks like that third command center's there. Last few SCVs. And what else do we need? 3 more barracks. So guys, we need to build 3 more barracks. Technically, you should probably be hiding this, but we're not really bothering. And they're all going to get tech labs. These 2 get reactors, because they're the 4th and 5th barracks. Control shift click. And there we go.
Our base is under attack.
Now come down here. You can also just kill it like that. A move into shift right click. Okay. So it's time to start. We should have got the armory here. A great advice from the YouTube comments was always build it with the 6th, 7th, 8th barracks. I normally would build it earlier than that, but I think with this build it makes sense to do it that way. Alright guys. So we're going to move across the map to start trying to open up a path in the creep spread. I think we're going to go this way. I think we're going to go this way through the middle. Combat shields. And guys, tech lab time. So get the 2 depots here. Tech lab. It's concussive on the way. Not yet, but I'll just queue it up. Make sure I don't forget it. Lots of Widow Mines, lots of medevacs, and let's do this. Okay. So, pretty good spread. The more you spread, the better, guys. Just keep that in mind. Definitely should have got rid of that tumor as well, but it is what it is. We're still macroing for now. The idea of this sort of push is just to get in position to be annoying. Lots of Marines and Marauders, lots of Widow Mines, lots of medevacs. We are a little bit supply blocked right now, so let's just kill up a few more depots, and then we can do this as a double drop. Those guys are going to go out to the left. Alright, so these guys are going to go forward over here. Box those guys and stim them. Try to pull back. Looks like that's a bit too much stuff, guys. These guys are going to pull back, okay? We're going to pull back over here. More Marauders, more Marines. I forgot to start 2-2. Make sure everything's there. Bring all these guys, shift box click. That's a big problem, guys. Building that 8 barracks and not rallying it is something we're seeing over and over again from me. Build a 4th command center. Build 2 more depots. We can see we can transfer a bunch of those over to the 4th once it's up. Oh, what the hell happened? I accidentally didn't have some of my barracks control grouped. These guys are going to go over there, as will this guy. Oh, he's attacking the command center, not the SCV. That's nice. Alright, so our drop's going to go in the main while these guys come forward on the front. Lots of Marines and Marauders in the production queue, guys. Ooh, there's only 1 Baneling, so that was okay. Now, if there's much Queens like that, guys, you really want to make sure you try and target fire, and then we can just leave in a moment. Send them back. That base just got taken out. Build more SCVs. I just queued up 15 SCVs, guys. These guys are all going to go over there. Alright, cancel those SCVs. Control click the Marines, guys, and pull them back. Let the Marauders do the tanking. Tell that to repair. Tell these guys to go there. These guys to go there. Add to control group, rally to 4th. Okay, let's go, guys. These guys are going to go back down there, unload in the main. Spread them out. These guys all over the shop. Stim. Too much to micro there, guys. So I'm just macroing while watching the fight, holding down the Marine and Marauder key. These guys, notice the bio inside the drop is also on the control group, so I don't need to click on anything. Click that infestation pit, just started. Alright, these guys are doing good damage. Because the spore's in range, we're just trying to move up a little bit. We're going to try and shoot these as well. Now I'm actually going to F2 shift A move down here, guys. The whole idea behind that, these guys are just going to pull back to that left, is I really want to push down here. Does he have that base? He doesn't. Okay. So he must have the base on the left, right? Okay, we're going to drop there. Let's F2A move to that side. This drop can go up there. I was going to try and show you some clever F2A move, and it was a really bad idea. It was really sloppy. Let's just take 2 more command centers, and then let's just push these guys forward, shall we? Every time you do that, it creates so many more actions that you then have to fix up. It's just not worth it. Send a few Marauders forward. Everything else is just free spread here. Moving a few Widow Mines forward as much as we can, including onto the high ground. And these guys can go out to the left as well. Notice we're just kind of splitting them up to kill different crit tumors. And go back there. F2 A move. Oh, sorry, F2 stim, no A move. And we're going to send these guys in from this left side. Just stim, click towards the mineral line. Select our main army and press stim again. Let's make sure all these guys are control grouped. And it looks like after a fight like that, I think we can just stim in. These guys can stim in from this side, A move. And these ones are just A move from that side. If you want, you can separate some units off. GG, well played. And it really is just overwhelming masses. This was not the cleanest game by any means, but it's the first Zerg game of the day, and you're usually going to make little mistakes here and there. Let's go back and take a look. So the Hellions getting surrounded was probably one of the worst things for me in this game. Now, I have actually been thinking about this, and I've been encouraging you guys to dive with the Hellions, and the reason is it's a very, very controlled, sharp point of micro into macro behind it. And this is something I just want players to grind into your head. What did I do before I went in here? If we go back 20 seconds, so watch from about 455 to that point. Let's get to 455.
Add-on complete.
Okay, so from about 450, watch what I'm doing. Specifically, you can see what I've got selected down the bottom. What am I doing? Building gases, queuing up extra SCVs, get a few Marines started. I think I tried to start stim, but it didn't start because I didn't quite have the money. Didn't realize that. And now I'm going, okay, Liberator's going to go in. Hellions are moving forward. While the Hellions were moving forward, I said, okay, I've got a few more seconds. Let's just make sure my macro is really good. And I queued up a ton of extra SCVs, 2 depots, quickly built a reactor, and then said, okay, let's micro for the next 20 seconds. I know I'm going to miss macro during this period, but because I queued up extra SCVs, we should be fine. Now, the Hellions come in, we get behind the mineral line, we do some damage. Is it devastating? No, it's not. Don't get me wrong, I killed a fair number of Zerglings and drones, but if you guys actually want to be very optimally defensive, turtly, rock solid, I want to float my third out, a lot of players will say the better choice here is to always keep those Hellions alive. The moment you see they have a decent number of Zerglings, just run them back. And that's what they'll say. And I agree. It'll give you a very stable follow-up. The problem is you will miss out on punishing really greedy Zergs. There's a lot of Zergs who at 5 minutes are not going to have more than 10 Zerglings. They're going to have 70 drones. And running in with these Hellions will punish them. It'll get you more used to doing that. It's really good. And it's nice to just get more active with the micro, so you start getting more reps of being really active with focusing down the drones and that sort of stuff. So don't get me wrong, if you keep these guys alive, it makes it a bit easier to defend your third, and it makes the macro easier as a result, because you're not having to build extra Hellions straight away. You can start building Widow Mines. So Liberator does some fantastic damage. As we see, guys, I didn't reposition it, even though I could have. But I did float a bit of money behind it, right? behind that micro. So notice when we come home, it's really important I swap these barracks over and get my next 2 barracks and then the next 3 barracks after that. The double upgrades also could have started a fair bit earlier as well. So it's easier to hit this build order without even committing with the Hellions at all, but I want you all to challenge yourselves. And instead of going, oh, I floated money, let's look at what we can do better in terms of those specifics. So for me, I think I could have already looked home at this point rather than talking to you guys about, oh, I could reposition. At this point, there's nothing else I'm microing here. So at this point, I should already be looking home and doing, number 1, what do you do when you look home from a macro cycle, guys? Build 2 SCVs per command center. So I should be queuing up 6 SCVs, number 1, and dropping mules. Build Marines, but because, bam, I don't have my add-ons on, I would quickly swap these over as part of building Marines. Build Widow Mines, build Medevacs. Well, I can't build Medevacs, so I build a reactor. So what I'd do is I'd basically go build Marines, do that, and then I'd go, okay, I've done a macro cycle, what's next? And I'd look around my bases and I'd go, put guys on gas, start upgrades, build 2 more barracks, build another 3 barracks plus the armory, which I think that's not a bad way to sync it up with an 8 ranks build. Like I said, that was a pretty good YouTube comment where I was like, oh yeah, that does often end up happening right about the same time. You can see I took an extra 20 seconds to do that because I was doing what I would refer to as over multitasking. In my case, it was educational multitasking. I was like, I could also do this with this. I was kind of talking a bit more than I needed to, but really we should just be like, okay, hit the macro nice and tight and we should be good. If you don't have any units here, you know they've got Zerglings. There could be 40 Zerglings coming. You do not want to be going out with just a few Marines. Once you get like 8 Marines, you know, and Stim should already be done. That tech lab was very late this game. If you got 8 Marines with Stim and 4 Hellions and you're waiting in the choke point, you'll be fine, right? So floating a lot of money here, guys. It did take me a long time to build those extra 3 barracks and that armory. I built the barracks in really weird positions. Normally you want to build them all next to each other for ease. I could have just built them all down here. We would have been fine, but I was talking about how we should probably try to hide them. And that armory doesn't go down as well, so definitely a little sloppy, all things considered. Marine production also here is inconsistent, and Gary and Bruce were very slow to start their constant depot building. Just goes to show you guys how unfamiliar this build is even for me. And when I'm talking you guys through a build that I don't really practice much, I'm just like, oh man, I'm actually not that used to playing bio transitions in this matchup. And it's like, I remember how to do it, but I'm so rusty with it. And look at how many minerals we've got floating. And we're moving out right now because I'm kind of going, we should definitely teach you guys to start the moment you have Stim Medevacs out, to start getting on the edge of creep just to be annoying and clearing creep. But I probably should have been like, hey, let's do our macro first and foremost. Where's the depots at? You know, get that bloody rhythm going with the macro cycle. That's going to be way more important. So definitely lots of room for improvement in this game, but I think it goes to show how I'm doing a very good job of actually being a proper diamond player, right? Floating 2k minerals while focusing on micro, and sometimes not even focusing on micro. The macro... Oh, sorry, that's his mineral... I'm looking at the wrong player's minerals. Guys, why am I showing up as red and him as blue? What kind of stupid effing overlay is this? I was so confused. I was like, I didn't realize. I was like, I must be really tired to not realizing that I had that much money. That's way... It's because when you go in first person view, guys, sometimes it fucks up the colors. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. The last fucking minute and a half has just been me being like, okay, I guess that I mean, I knew my macro wasn't great, but I didn't know it was that bad. Okay, now we can actually look at the money more appropriately. All right. How much money did I actually float during that? So we made my opponent panic, lose queens, and fuck up their macro so hard that they were floating 2 to 2,500 minerals that whole time. Skippy did say they were very rusty, so no doubt dealing with the Hellion lib pressure was quite a bit. There we go. We floated 1,000 minerals at this point, guys, which is not great, but it's perfectly fine. If you've been microing your ass off for a little bit, that's okay. All the advice I said about how I could have done things a little bit quicker is still correct. And dropping mules here is still good. Mules can mine on top of SCVs, remember, even though it's oversaturated. Yeah. And we definitely could have built depots way more frequently as well. But, yeah. Awesome. All right. So you can just see how much there is to improve in terms of just the timings. And The important thing is to not tunnel vision on harassing too hard. Too many people just get so overeager on harassment. They're like, I gotta fucking kill everything with these Hellions. Just keep in mind, StarCraft is always about you commit to your pressure timings, but if the opponent's very well prepared, the peak thing you can do is back off. Maybe keep exerting pressure if you've got the APM to like move around, threaten with the Hellions, but don't actually dive in. If you see they've got a ton of Zerglings, your only job with those Hellions is to keep them alive, and if you can deny some creep tumors, hats off to you, you're doing great. All right, guys, going into a TVP. Now, this is a Masters 2, just above Masters 3 player, technically just outside of our range of players we're meant to be playing against, but I was like, oh, it'll be fun. Let's get ourselves a nice, challenging 4,500 MMR Protoss player. This is someone who is on the very bottom end of someone who I could actually run into on ladder on my main account. Pretty rare. Obviously, that's like a long search time when not many people are queuing the game at some weird hour of the day, but definitely possible. So it's going to be interesting to see how we can pull this one together. Remember, we don't SCV scout. Now, there was a question there from Bowtie in the chat. If you could give me a bit more of a specific version of that question after this game, I'd love to answer it. Bowtie was asking about, it was like, hey, how would you adapt that previous build against a roach timing? I think you definitely, I think we played against some in Diamond Part 1, I believe. And essentially you just build Cyclones if it's a really quick one. And use the Liberator to help defend as well. But you got to be very careful with the Liberator positioning to make it really hard for them to corrosive bile it, which takes a little bit of finesse. Okay, guys. So we've got a probe coming in. I'm just going to attack that. We'll talk more about that after this game. So if you can restate it again after this game, that'll be great. I'll go over it. So you can raise the depot there. Dropping his Kappa Ross in my base. How dare he? Or Zealot Ross or whatever it's called. I don't know. Stupid guy. Alright, guys. We're going to go build the depot. Queue up a Marine there. You can't leave.
Command center has been upgraded.
Build an SCV. Build a mule. And remember, our job is to kill the probe and then to go looking for proxies. Going to build a factory. So we're just going to quickly check around the map. This guy can go out here. Build our second Marine. And we're just looking for those proxies as we always do. We're going to go second gas. If we go Reaper, no SCV Scout. Gotta look for those proxies, guys. And the thing is, if they chrono an Adept across, 2 Marines and a Reaper actually beat it. But because we've got the bunker up, we don't even need to worry. Okay, let's put guys on gas straight away. And we're going to try and go for a scout with our Reaper while the Marines hop inside. Oops, unload that SCV. Put the orbital. Let's get the starport. Cyclone on the way. Perfect. Alright guys, our Reaper's sacrificing itself to see what the hell we're up against. And it looks like there is not a lot of info on what we're up against. Oh, what the hell? Okay, it's a Twilight, and it looks like he's walled himself in. Alright, no worries. SCVs, Mules, Marines. And remember, guys, this is Gary up here. Gary, the Starport SCV, is going to keep building depots once he finishes all of that. The Reaper, funnily enough, looks like he might survive, but... Oh! Just barely regened enough. Alright, Medevac and another Cyclone on the way, guys. Just to keep things simple, we are going to just do the 6 Marine push out the front, and then we're going to do the Cyclone double drop towards the main. Just keep it real simple. You can try and depower the gates, but I think we'll go straight for the main mineral line around the left. It's kind of an easier way of doing it. Alright. Cyclone in the main, so that's fine. More SCVs and mules. The Marines are going to go across the front. Build 2 barracks there. Queue them back to minerals. And send the medevac down that left side. Okay. Those barracks definitely could have been up earlier, guys. Make sure we keep queuing up depots here. Let's get the engineering bay.
Add-on complete.
Yeah, tank and a Raven.
Been waiting on you.
And we can send this up to unload in the mineral line. All right, guys, the Marines, just going to clump those a little bit by clicking in the middle of them. Build a few more SCVs while we move in. We're just going to move into that mineral line. And it looks like, oh, he was very ready for the drop. So this is a one-way trip, guys. Just going to try and shift-click those Marines as much as we can. Double gas on the natural, make +1. And we were doing a 2-base push, so let's build this. Let's go, 2 barracks land, build reactor, build reactor. Now he could try and kill me, so we're going to put our tank in a very defensible position, guys. Maybe here?
Absolutely.
Stim. Oh man, I only just started building the Marauders, guys. What the hell? Should have started those a lot earlier. Let's try and repair our bunker. I was already thinking that he could come because we already saw a lot of Stalkers, guys. Let's pull back.
Sure thing.
Add-on complete.
Alright, that was really sloppy, guys. Build Marines, build medevacs, build mines. Do a supply drop. Cue those guys back to mining. Keep building SCVs. I don't know why I'm making this so hard for myself. Our build is naturally not very safe, by the way, against 4-gate blink, but that's alright. We're going to just leave 5 guys there on auto repair and everything else in the main, okay? If you keep building Marauders non-stop, you usually can't die to this sort of move. Keep building depots here. Gary and Bruce. I think we're okay. Combat shields is actually what I upgraded instead of stim. That's a mistake for me. It's funny because like I try to slow down my micro for the show, but sometimes I just do really stupid micro while I'm trying to think about how to slow down my micro. It's this kind of funny thing where I'm like, I mean, I'm meant to show you guys how to do things smart and methodically, but sometimes there's just this overpowering of my instincts where I've got to kind of wrestle with it and be like, do it slightly. I was like, don't do it in a way that's unattainable. And then I instead do it in a way that's really stupid. But I hope you guys learn at least from the corrections. I'm going to go over that whole interaction at the end of this. All right, guys. All right, so the Raven defends the Observer. We're going to send it around the right side of the map, up there, to go harass. Everything else is just Marauders, Marines, Widow Mines, medevacs, and depots. And especially those depots is really important. I swear I keep not setting the rally point. There we go.
We're done with the
Put these guys back on mining is fine. All right, guys. Now, we can leave the tank at home or we can bring it with us. We're going to move forward. Okay. Okay. Is there a base mining here? We're moving across the map. And then we're going to hide in the back with that Raven. Fantastic. Okay, guys, we're moving down this left because we want to move up from this angle so it's hard to flank us. More Marauders, Marines, Widow Mines, medevacs.
Armed and ready.
These guys are just going to keep coming across the map.
Been waiting on you.
And last depot. Okay.
You gonna give me orders?
And we're just going to throw one more auto turret to be annoying. Stim. Now pull back, guys. Alright, well done by him. Probably got this watchtower. Really sloppy of me not to clear up any map control before I moved out, guys. We're just going to spread our units out here. More Marauders, more Marines, more Widow Mines, and we'll start building those Vikings now. This, guys, can go up to the top right. Oh. He does move down there, a little bit ambitious for him, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Let's go for the drop, okay?
Now what? Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
I don't know what happened with this drop. Apparently it didn't happen. Alright, guys. These guys get ready to pick up. You know he's coming for us. He's actually coming kind of slow. Let's try and kill some zealots first. So notice we're just going to move over the top of the medevacs before going back to healing. And then we can go pick up, because we know he's about to be there, and then go heal. These guys, stim hit that side.
Go ahead.
These guys can come back to the front.
That's fine.
We've completely
Okay, he's
mined
coming
out of
for
the
us.
field.
Orders received. This better be good.
Life flights here.
These guys are going to run away.
ETA 1 minute.
Who wants?
Other army can come in up there. Raven can drop an auto turret. Shift click.
Been waiting on you.
Keep building Marines and Marauders, guys.
You gonna give me orders? By the numbers,
These guys are going to run in, and I'm going to select my other army and just A move it to the top right.
armed and ready.
I'm just going to borrow the Widow Mines, because this is an annoying position for mines to be.
Let's get into the
This whole army's on one hotkey. You don't need to separate your units. If your armies are in multiple chunks, guys, it's better just to keep things simple for yourself. Now, he's obviously coming back, so we want to move up the ramp.
Our SCVs are under fire.
Grab those guys. So we're trying to just make sure we keep moving deeper in the base, guys. And he's going to come and try and defend. But notice, as long as I keep fighting away from him,
Under attack.
it does feel like we're just killing stuff.
That's fine.
Even if we're going to eventually get cleaned up, I think we're doing enough damage by just being faster than him. And here we can just hold position to kill that. And then if we want, we can even try to get out of here, right? Or we can just keep moving around away from wherever his army is. And because we're so damaged, if we can get out with any of these units, guys, and heal them,
Our
that'll be
base is
amazing.
under attack.
How did these guys beat me? That's +2 somehow. Holy shit. Oh, we're going to drop mules there, guys. We cannot afford to lose that. Go back to mining. Repair that. Okay, these guys are going to come in from the right. Meanwhile, these guys are going to get killed. Oh my god.
Our base is under attack.
Oh my god, these zealots with +2 are slaying, dude. Alright, these guys, make sure they're all on auto repair. Make sure you borrow the Widow Mines.
Waiting on you.
These guys go back to the watchtower.
This better be good.
This drop is going to go right back in here. Ooh. Ooh. Really good play by him, but luckily we just had the ability to attack 2 extreme fronts. And that's always the play, guys. Attack one side, attack the other side, attack one side, attack the other side, and that works out really well. So let's go back to that little point where we knew he was like 4-gate blinking or 3-gate blinking or something. Now, check it out. So our first harassment was really cute because we fly right into his 5 stalkers and he just 2-shots the medevac, and I'm like, ow, I was not expecting that. Which is why probably unloading on the corner is a little bit safer. But I still kill like 6 or 7 probes, right? I still kill a whole bunch of units, and it's actually not too bad. We get a lot of mining time. It's not great, but it's good enough. Now, he's gone, let's take a look, 3 gates. It was 3-gate blink, and he also has a robo and a really well-timed third, so good on him. Really nice opening. We send the Raven. Yeah, so then I screw up killing the Observer in a moment, which is really derpy, just because I'm trying to slow down my reactions. Like, I could easily... Normally here, what I'd do is I'd immediately... I'd select the bunker, right-click, hit the unload button, and then I would box the Marines, and I would move them forward, shoot, move forward, shoot, to make sure I kill this. Instead, I slow myself down, and I'm like, and I just fucking A-move it, which obviously scares it away. Whereas if I just moved those Marines forward first, they could have killed it. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I should drop an auto turret. But even then, it gets 1 shot. I don't even kill the Observer. And I'm like, what are you doing? I also put this on the barracks, these barracks on the tech labs, and I didn't build Marauders straight away. If you guys are only building a single tank and you think it might be 4-gate blink or any sort of big stalker pressure, which guess what? I just threw away all my army units, didn't kill a single stalker. Any stalker pressure is scary, even 2-gate blink. The first thing you need to do, if you're not constantly building tanks and extra bunkers, then you need to make sure you are building Marauders and Marines non-stop. I Q2 Marines, but I don't Q2 Marauders for a good 15 seconds. Making sure those Marauders are building non-stop as early as possible is a big part of what keeps you alive. And if, say, he blinks in the main, you want to keep your bio back. A lot of people make the mistake of running their Marines and Marauders at the Stalkers. You want to pull back, grab SCVs, A-move a big pack of SCVs to tank, and then A-move your bio behind it. So the way you do that when the fight happens is you'd put your main army on 1, pull it back, grab a bunch of SCVs, put them on 2, A-move them, and then you A-move your bio right behind it. Also, this is meant to be stim, not combat shields. You got to make sure you do that, guys. Does 2 gas at this point mean a Zealot all in, or you could still do Blink Stalkers with it? Oh, when I went in with the pressure, that's a really good question. When I was in there, I think it was too early for it to mean anything. But we do see a 3rd and 4th gas anyway. This tells us it's definitely not like a big Zealot all in or anything like that. All right, so even though this is the point, I think this is probably the most crucial point in this replay, guys, because I didn't macro that well or anything, but I'm like, okay, let's go fucking kill some stuff. Let's go. Now, problem, this army is not that big. His army's actually sick. But it's very easy to get stressed because it's already quite late in this game, and it's 8 minutes, right? 8:30, and I know he's got a 4th. Remember, my Reaper saw this in the top right. Now, I've just done some auto turret harass though, and I've killed a few workers. But even after killing those few workers, he's still at 60 plus probes going on 4 base. I'm stuck on 2 base. It's not a good position to be in, especially with Colossus that beat my bio army, my biomine army. So what's very important here is when this fight happened, I should have scanned a bit earlier because we kind of stumble into him, but I burrow my mines, I stim, and then I try to stutter step backwards, cleaning up the zealots, and then just backing away. And remember, I keep taking breaks to clear up work, clear up to add production. Keep taking a break to just queue up more Marines and Marauders, and I also start building Vikings in a moment as well. You can just keep going nothing but medevacs if you want, because they allow you to multi-prong. I didn't even stim here because I was at home macroing and doing stuff, and I was about to though. Now I loaded up a drop to go drop the top right. That's dangerous. I think what's easier, rather than loading this up, just box this whole army, put it on a separate control group, and just A-move it to the top right. And that immediately gets you that multi-prong pressure going. Because I saw him retreating and I figured, hey, we've got a bit of room. Let's just drop in the main, pick off a few buildings, and notice the way we do this. We are always prepared to leave. We drop a scan. You could kill the Twilight. It is a tech structure. Denying it does stop him from building upgrades. But I decided let's just kill pylons and, you know, depower some of his buildings and be annoying. And I see his units coming. But I realized that his army is simply very far behind these zealots. So I was like, you know what? Let's just fight. And notice here, I grab the medevacs, I move them past my bio, and then A-move so they start healing when they're on top. And then I'm like, okay, those stalkers are really wasting a lot of time. I don't know why he's taking so long. He just seems to have messed up, but let's just leave now rather than let those stalkers blink on top. And I tell these to unload because I want the bio to heal up so it's ready for the next wave. And then we focus on the right side, right? And we just kind of go, okay, grab a new army, reinforce this army on the left so they can join up once it's healed. And then we can just burrow Widow Mines.
Mineral field depleted.
And kill that. And remember, what are we missing in this game, guys? Something. Armory. He's killing these Widow Mines even though he has no observers. Whereas if he didn't have an observer, which he doesn't, and if I built an armory, these Widow Mines would shoot. He wouldn't be able to kill them. And then my opponent's Robo is constantly building observers. They're trying to move observers between the bases. I'm dropping more Widow Mines in the main. And essentially my opponent starts to just have a really hard turn of events as a result of that. So that's one of the really big things you want to try and make sure you do. I think one of the big problems Costa had is they don't have a drop defense squad, as far as I can tell. Yeah, for some reason they have a lot of probes on a control group, but they never control group their drop defense squad. I really feel that's huge because you want to always have 2 control groups that you're used to using with your army, plus a drop defense group is a nice way to do it. And like a warp prism, I think is not really very important to be control grouped comparatively. I think it's way more important because you want to be able to, if a drop comes in from here, blink on it and shift click those medevacs down, or reinforce it and come in from the left while this army comes in from the right. And I think that sort of stuff can be really big. But yeah, I just kind of ran in and did a ground attack because my army was so big. And I figured, hey, let's just move in and see what we can do. And this is something where I kind of just stutter stepped away from his army, realizing how slow he was, and look how much damage the Widow Mines did as well, my gosh. So that army just got butchered. I thought there would be way more army coming up, but we were killing his top right. He was warping in all of his units on my side of the map, and because we weren't stutter stepping, and I thought I had enough units to just fight in the open, I just kind of let my units just fight, and he went kind of all in on the Zealot warp-ins, which is why he was able to overwhelm there. But at what cost? I could have let the Vikings fight separately from this army a little bit earlier, by the way. They finally do. And I even pick up and leave there, which you could argue, oh, why not stay there? It's just, why not take the safe route? All my units are deep red and orange. If I leave them for a minute to heal, this is worth so much, this army. But right now, it's very easy to just get shot down. So it's an easy choice to just back out of there and do it. So yeah, let's remember to add the armory in our games. I think is really, really huge. I think we've got to make sure we do that. And that should be good. Remember to get the armory as you move out for your push each game. Just a great thing to remember. It'll really boost your performance massively. All right, guys, let's talk about this Roach scenario. For the Roach scenario, he droned up to 42 drones, had a third with 0 drones. He hit it 6 minutes with 3 Roaches, 9 Ravagers, and 16 Lings, reducing 16 Lings behind. I think without adapting the build, it's really hard to hold. Okay, yeah, you just got to pull up your main ramp. Yeah. It's a bizarre army, but generally speaking, the whole point of the Hellion Reapers is to try to see what's going on. So if you see, you know, those units moving out to be aggressive, try to immediately build a bunker on your high ground. And yeah, because you said, you know, I think without adapting the build, it's really hard to hold. I mean, you're not meant to, you're absolutely meant to adapt to any all-in that comes your way. So it depends when you see that move out and what you see coming. But generally speaking, I would build Cyclones, I would build Marauders, and I would make sure our Hellions get behind our wall. Because you just need, and I would potentially bring the Liberator home to defend as well, right? Or even build another Liberator or something like that. You can build a Banshee potentially, and it does help. But, yeah, I think basically just building Cyclones should be great. The trick here is going to be, if they really shove forward, you may need to pull SCVs. But if you pull up your main ramp, you should be very safe. So with builds like that, anytime you're losing your natural wall off, you're building depots behind your main ahead of time, you're building Cyclones, trying to get a bunker up on the high ground, and you're building any other high value units you can. So some people might swap the factory over on a tech lab to build siege tanks, or the starport over to the tech lab to build siege tanks, and just keep building Marines one at a time out of the barracks. Absolutely worth doing. You can totally do that. If you can get a few bunkers up in the low ground and hold on the low ground, that's fantastic, because then you don't really lose any mining. But usually being able to pull up that main ramp is pretty fantastic. You see, the thing is, the attack your opponent did is kind of garbage. It's one of these, like, it's not, 42 drones is way too many, and 6 minutes is way too late. It's such an oddball attack, right? It's such a weird fucking bizarre attack. But if you've like thrown all your Hellions away and your Liberator, and they didn't really lose any army, and then they counterattack with that, yeah, you're gonna have a tough time holding. A big tell would be when the moment you see no drones on their third is probably the easiest tell. This is so much easier to analyze with a replay. But yeah, generally speaking, if they don't have any drones on their third, Zerg's probably at like what, 4.5 minutes. It's super suspicious. 5 minutes, it is beyond incriminating. That motherfucker's trying to kill you. Build a bunker or so, and just work on surviving, and you should be good. Guys, we're playing a TVT on Radhuset Station, 3800 MMR opponent. We want to go barracks, straight into gas, and then of course straight into the second gas. You guys know I like to do this shift gather from the inside, just to make sure I get my gas mining as quickly as possible. Now I'm going to take a third up here on this inside base on this map, a fourth over there, and then probably a fifth, probably on the gold base if we get to that stage. Let's take that second gas, which a little bit slow on doing that. It's all right. And you want to pull one off gas as well as one off the command center. Oh, sorry, one off minerals onto gas as well as one rallying from the command center. So once again, we're going to pull one off minerals. I want to pull one off this far patch because I think that's the least efficient patch. Do you notice I right-clicked him on the gas and then just clicked gather is the way we do that? Or not gather, but return cargo, sorry. Reaper on the way as well as an orbital. And I think on this map there's not that many proxy locations, so I don't really need to bother looking for those proxies, guys. Now, to be fair, this map's actually really great for a non-traditional TVT opening, but we don't want to have custom builds for each maps. There's already enough to practice in StarCraft without kind of unnecessarily complicating things, right? Let's put these guys on there.
Center has been upgraded.
CVs. So we're just going to check down around this right side with our Reaper. Make sure there's no proxies too close to my base. Assuming there's not, we should be good. Bring that guy down there. Keep building SCVs. We're just looking around, not finding any proxies. We should be good. Make sure I've always got an extra SCV queued up here. And we should be able to build that command center. So I just removed an SCV from the queue. Add to the hotkey, send to the camera location, set the rally point, where you guys know I like to go immediately back on gas, as well as building a Hellion and a reactor. And they should be able to kill that. This allows us to go starport very quickly. Remember, it's always starport into depot. And we're just going to build that depot on the right side, okay? Now notice we didn't look back at the Reapers. I'm pretty sure they killed him. Yep, they did. Fantastic. Got to change this rally point. And we want that Cyclone to build now. Okay, guys, perfect. So these guys are both rallied back there. Just one more on minerals, and then we can rally to the second base. All right, so if we want, we can go for a poke with our Reaper Hellion. Because I killed one of his Reapers, I feel pretty confident to do that, guys. And we also want to get down there and build that gas. We can start mining gas as soon as that's finished. All right, so we're building Marines, a Cyclone, and then Ravens in the near future. We're going to remember to make interference matrix. I'm still not really used to doing that, but
Add-on complete.
I swear we bloody need to work on it. So let's go 50 minerals, 50 gas. Put more SCVs. Let's just have a little poke here, guys. Pull the Hellion back so it's not in front too much. Killed a Reaper just sitting out. And there's a Cyclone, which we can't really beat with these units.
Add-on is
So
up and running.
you've got like 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions or something. It's a different story. But with that low
Command
number of
center has
units,
been upgraded.
I don't think it's very viable. Now notice macro cycle, right? Once the orbitals finish, what do? Build SCVs, build Marines, build tank, build Raven, build depot. So we're just going to get Gary building depots non-stop. I'm also going to pull a worker off that patch and queue up another Raven. Alright guys, so we can just put everything on one hotkey for now. It doesn't really matter too much. We'll fix that when we want to move out. Make sure Gary keeps building depots though. And we've got 4 SCVs building, which is the priority. Let's make sure we keep building tanks and Ravens as well.
We're done with the research.
Queue up a few more Marines. Actually, maybe not. Oh, it'll time out okay. Build a few more SCVs. Gary can build another depot. Alright, check it guys. Time to swap our starport over. Notice I queued it to move to the left and then shift clicked it on the reactor. This is just a little tip to make sure your building lines up. And then we can see it's sitting pretty close to where it wants to be. Got another tank on the way, a few Vikings. Keep building SCVs and mules. Keep building that. And is that 3 tanks, guys? It's 2. Our Ravens put on a different hotkey. Apparently I pulled a guy off gas somehow. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, let's move across the map, guys, once this third tank's out, which it's about to be. Let's mine these minerals out, and we can get this third command center. Yeah. Okay. Apparently I've still got this guy on gas. I don't know how. Alright, we're moving across without timing. Let's just leave it there. Okay.
We've completely mined out a mineral field.
Nicely done. Let's take the gas. 1, 2, 3, 4. And double eBay. Did we kill that? We did, right? Yes, they did. Good. Alright, guys. Guys on gas. So everything's rallied to the main. Hotkey the barracks, hotkey the eBays. And let's scan ahead, but
Nothing
we
left in
can't
that mineral
because I
cluster.
kind of messed up. Okay, guys. We always want to look for this timing. Because I've waited there, I got delayed. Kind of sucks. Just move your tanks in front because they're the derpiest. And let's go interference matrix on the Cyclones. Normally I was looking for tanks, obviously, for targets, but we didn't find any. And he's going to pull his SCVs, so we might as well just drop all of our auto turrets down and There we go. All right, those guys are going to do their job no matter what. So we go stim, reactors, transfer some workers, and let's do a full macro cycle because we haven't done that yet. Shift click that, set the rally point. Lots of SCVs, lots of mules, the depot, lots of marines, tanks, and Vikings. Box these guys, move there. We're not going to reinforce across the map, guys. We just want to make sure we're macroing first and foremost. I didn't start building depots. That should be an orbital. What do we have? What are we missing? Second factory we're missing. Let's get the second factory. All right, let's scan here. Oh, hello. So we should have already ran away, guys. We're just going to run away now, but he's wasting a lot of mining time, so that's okay. And it looks like it's Cyclone Mech. Ah, that I was not expecting.
Command center has been upgraded.
Take 2 gases there. Lots of Marines building, guys. If he builds lots of Cyclones, we might wish we had more tech labs, because Hellions can actually roast our Marines. So we're going to F2 home, and then we're going to control click the Vikings, shift 2. F2, control click the Ravens, shift 2. What we're going to do is we're going to grab a bunch of SCVs here, and we're just going to shift click repair on the important units, and then go back to mining. We're also going to start a 4th command center. And we can get a tech lab. All right, guys, full macro cycle. SCVs, Marauder, lots of Marines. And then we want tanks and then Vikings, okay?
Research complete.
Okay. Grab these guys. We're just waiting for a bit of money to come in there. Bunch of tanks, few Vikings. And let's make sure these guys go on gas. 4th command center gets added to our control group. Rally over there. Now, because he's playing mech, we don't need to be worried about drops, guys. He's playing bio. The fudge? Okay. That's confusing. Let's build turrets all around that left side. And a sensor tower. That was definitely not what I was expecting. Put a sensor tower there and there. Oh, hello. Case in point, that's exactly what we're worried about, guys. We're going to A-move our army there. So stim A-move into Viking A-move. All right, that was costly.
What's going on?
Shift click back on the turrets. Build some more SCVs.
Waiting on you. State your request.
F2 to the left. Box shift 1. Shift 2. Get some medevacs. We're going to build 4 of them.
SCV ready.
Because we don't have any medevacs. Remember, even though you want the Viking advantage, it's not worth having no healing. So we're just fixing up my saturation here, guys. And we're going to rally over to the 4th. Which also, sensor tower and turrets. Notice we've got turrets zoning the edges. Technically, you could get past that turret, so we've got 1 reserve turret. We're also going to build a sensor tower there, just to be safe. This map's a very special map, where there's so many crazy drop angles, it's really important to open all that up. The way he's scanning tells me he has an army here, because otherwise why would he be scanning twice in one location, guys? So we're sending a lot of Marines out. We're making combat shields.
SCV ready.
Command
Lots of
center has
Marines.
been upgraded.
2/2 vehicle weapons +1.
In the rear with
Last depots that we really need in this game. Our worker count's not that great. Grab a few more.
big job. Who wants some? Go, go, go.
All right, we've got 4 medevacs now. We can go back to Vikings and tanks.
This better be good.
He has 1/1, same as me. I know we're playing very mega macro TVT, which part of me rebels against. I'm like, oh, I should be teaching you guys an easier way to play or something like that, but... Okay, so we can see his army there now. If you scan, you kind of give away that you can see him.
Piece of me, boy.
But it's worth it. I was trying to get a sneaky pre-stim on him. We're going to try and drop interference matrices on his tanks, guys. Looks like only one of them landed because we killed everything else before the matrix is even connected. All right, we're going to move across the map now. Ravens and Vikings on the tanks. Rest of the army is stim A moved there. We're building Marines, tanks, Vikings. Now notice we're only still on 5 barracks. We really need to go 1, 2, 3 barracks.
Gotcha.
And look what
done
we
with
just
the
saw on the minimap, guys. While I was waiting for that money, I was looking at the minimap.
This better be
These guys can go there. And we can find this base. Alright. Notice we're just control clicking the Marines, making sure they move underneath. So we've denied the gold base. Put some Marines on the watchtower so we have vision. And this is something you can always do as a Terran, which the other races can't, which is really, really nice. First of all, box these guys down here. Shift 2. Vikings, shift. There we go. So try to hit the rocks in the middle, guys, is one of the best ways to do this.
Upgrade
Let's
complete.
get 3/3 plus 2 vehicle weapons. Let's build some more command centers as well. Okay, so with this base, right, we can drop a bunch of mules and actually mine this open, which is awesome.
go on.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster. Mineral field depleted.
The other races can't do
Nothing
this.
left in
Obviously,
that
it's
mineral
not cheap,
cluster.
but
Completely mined out a mineral field.
cool. So now, once you've got a good position like this, you always want to go around the other side, right? So you just leave these guys here,
And ready.
because this is putting so much pressure on him. And I mean, I can even just drop some auto turrets and do some stuff. And the rest of the army is going to go
Our
attack
forces have
elsewhere,
opened
right?
fire.
So looks like his army's trying to move over there already.
What's our armed and
These guys there. And then this army can move forward, because his whole army's over there. So we're just trying to attack where he's not focusing. Is kind of the whole goal. So we're going to kill that command center, stem up the left side. And these guys are just going to siege in range.
Mineral field.
And these guys are just going to pull back a little bit. Hold position. And we can move these guys in as well.
Nothing left in that mineral.
So we're just focusing on one side at a
Completely
time.
mined out a mineral.
But because our opponent's pinned and on the back foot, this just makes it so powerful. Siege the tanks. Stim the Marines to kill all the SCVs that are running over. And now we can just kind of do it like that. The Vikings going to be doing damage. At this point, you can also finish them off by doing things like that. So we can take them, go drop the main base. These guys here. You can see how we're just very methodically strangling our opponent out of the game without ever feeling like we have to just headbutt through them. It's just move forward. Oh, you're here. Can I siege my tanks on your tanks and just take 1 or 2 shots? Maybe. Maybe I can do the 3 versus 1 tank rule. Maybe I can just siege here, move around to a new angle. Maybe I can just run my army back and forth while I macro behind it. These are all plays that you can do in TVT that take the pressure off you feeling like, oh, I gotta kill him right now.
Upgrade is ready
Ugh.
for use.
'Cause that's where a lot of Terran players throw the game away. Notice we didn't even get the add-ons there. We never got the 2nd and 3rd starport. We never got the extra 2 factories I was talking about in the previous game. These are all things that really help you the longer the game goes. They're just not that important, you know? They're nice to do. What else? 4 more command centers. We never did the 4 more command centers.
Upgrade complete.
I mean, that would have all given me so much more macro the longer the game goes. So I also could have taken an extra minute as my money banked up to just go do those extra macro
Completely mined
tasks
out a
as well.
mineral field.
So these rocks are all meant to be one combined
Nothing left in
pool, I'm
that
pretty
mineral.
sure, but I think
Add-on
they're just a
complete.
little buggy, where basically if you attack the rocks in the very middle, I think it breaks all of them, but otherwise these ones, it seems like they're kind of split into 2 different pools of hit points, yeah. My man. So the Raven tank push basically won us that game, got us way ahead, guys. If we look at the workers graph, you can see committing to that Raven tank push can just be absolutely devastating. He was a little bit too focused on Cyclones for control, and if he came out and engaged me in the open, that would have been a better fight for him, but he wasn't able to, so it was an issue. Alright guys, Terran vs Zerg, we're playing against Donkey Balls, a 4K Zerg player. And this should be a lot of fun. So, I think TVZ, we might try keeping the Hellions alive this time rather than sacrificing them. It kind of depends on the situation, of course. If we see a mineral line filled with drones and nothing to defend it, we're going to be diving into that bad boy. But if we maybe catch a glimpse or 2 of a lot of Zerglings, not that many drones, it looks like they're well defended, then we very well may end up playing this out quite differently. Alright, queue up that extra SCV. Let's get the barracks. See, we've got our camera locations all ready now. Leave space for the add-on. Get the gas going. Queue it to the inside. I want to queue up some more SCVs. Feel free to ask off-topic questions in between the games, gang. one off minerals, one off the command center onto gas. And remember, we're going to rally one worker from the barracks to see if it's hatchery first or not, and then rally back to our natural, which means this 19th worker will rally down there, and you can even queue it to mine minerals and then shift click it onto the base. Reaper into orbital, let's go.
Move it. It's your
Alright, we're gonna go to command center now.
What's going on?
Alright, this is a really smooth opening so far, guys. Getting your opening details down cannot be understated. The number of Terrans I see, even in Masters and GM, who their openings just get sloppy over time. And it's usually when they're kind of feeling a little bit emo about a matchup, and they're like, "Oh, it's so impossible to win, man." That looks like it was about to finish. I should have checked it closer, but that's alright, it'll do. Like, oh, this friggin' matchup is unfair. It's like whenever we let ourselves get in that mindset is usually the time when we start having bad play. So that Marine can come out there and then back to the high ground. Reactors there, a couple more SCVs. And now it's Reaper micro time. Now if you want, guys, you can get into the behind the mineral line sort of gameplay here. But just be careful about getting surrounded, okay? Let's just go back, scout for the third base using a shift click, go back to the middle. Get our third command center going. Add to the control group.
I'm listening.
Oh, this Marine might even get an Overlord, guys. That's pretty slick. Looks like he does get out of there.
Add-on is up and running.
Get the second gas, orbital.
Want something? Agreed.
Get the mule. Keep building SCVs. Now we can start those Hellions. Alright, 2 Hellions on the way. About 3:30 is when ling speed finishes, guys. But we haven't seen a third base yet. So I am a little wary that I might be getting all in. So we're going to go back, and the moment these Hellions are out, we'll go scouting and try to see what's going on. Go, wait, why has our opponent not got an expansion?
Command
What's
center
happening?
has been upgraded.
Lots of SCVs and mules, guys. We're going to build a Liberator. Not actually changing the build, we're just scouting a little bit more than normal to kind of confirm what's going on, okay? So Alien Reaper goes across the map on the most direct path to see if there's anything. Let's run back to the high ground. Okay, we're going to build a bunker. We're going to build a Marauder. And it definitely feels like we're being baneling busted, guys.
Fair enough.
Oof. Alright, I'm going to build another depot in the back. I'm going to drop all my mules in the main, but we're very ready to run these guys away, okay? Oops, I accidentally just hotkeyed my command centers. Alright, these guys are in a safety bunker. Let's go. Oh, hello! Look at this, guys. Oh, God. Raise the wall. Liberators there. Pull a bunch of SCVs to auto repair. That's a lot of Zerglings, guys. So we're gonna grab the SCVs and just mineral walk them into the crevice. Just keep hiding them. Keep building Hellions.
Our base is under attack.
Don't let those guys die. Do not let those SCVs die, guys.
Bad news.
Alright. We can move down there, guys. Let's put the Liberator down. Everything else can just move down. And let's build some depots. Alright. Let's just F2. Grab the Liberator there. Everything else here. Control Shift click that. Alright. First things first. SCVs and mules. Notice I'm building about 1 billion of them. Next thing. Build reactor, build reactor. Let's get our second and third barracks going, guys. We don't have money. Just waiting for it. Just waiting for a mate. Alright. Let's get stim. Sell the bunker. I'm a little worried about follow-up attacks, which is why I'm not going in yet until we get that engineering bay wall off. A few more SCVs and mules. Raise the wall. Alright, let's do it, guys. I siege a Liberator from the front. Hellions will run in on the natural. He's got a lot of roaches. I don't even know if we can do much there, so we're gonna chill for a moment. Alright, these Hellions are gonna hide. Let's go double barracks.
Add-on
Sorry,
is
double
up and
debate. 4th and 5th barracks. Double upgrades. These guys are gonna swap off right now. Let's get 1, 2, 3 more barracks. Now we saw quite a few roaches, guys, so we do have to be very wary right now. We cannot miss a beat on our barracks production, okay? If we do, we're screwed. So we're building Marauder, lots of Marines. We're gonna lift one of these barracks on this reactor. The other one will just float down. We're gonna be building 3 depots right now. Notice we've got a lot of orbital mill dropping. Mules, but it's more important for us to make bio than anything else.
Add-on complete.
Now the reason the starport swapped off, guys, is because, and we actually saw a lot of roaches, so let's swap into siege tanks, because remember that's important.
Research complete.
We want depots still building 2 at a time. Beautiful. Alright, so it looks like he's not actually committing to a big attack, even though I thought he probably was. He also doesn't have any upgrades, which is good. Get those 3 tech labs. Get combat shields. Lots of Marines and Marauders.
Add-on complete.
Lots of, well, tanks, sorry, not Widow Mines, and lots of medevacs. Just gonna wait to queue up a second medevac
Add-on is
there.
up and running.
Depots to finish our macro cycle. I didn't build any SCVs that macro cycle,
Add-on complete.
and I guess that's partially because I'm a little bit worried about an attack coming, but I think at this point it looks like he's just macroing up. Lots of Marauders, lots of Marines, concussive, tank, medevac. Rally everything down there.
Upgrade
including
complete.
those guys. Get the depots. That guy was surrounded. Alright. Oh, hello. Let's use that splash damage to try to take that out. Aliens are just gonna hide. They're gonna go around the other side of the map. They're gonna hide down the bottom for a run by later on. More Marines and Marauders. Another tank. Still not building SCVs, guys. Why is that?
Research complete.
I think it's just because I'm stuck in this mode of thinking I'm going to get attacked. Sometimes your adrenaline gets pumping when your opponent
We're done
attacks you
with
and
the
you start playing like an absolute baboon. We still should build another 8 or 9 SCVs. That was sloppy.
Mineral field depleted.
Alright guys, let's get vehicle weapons, more Marauders, more Marines, another tank. And grab a few of those SCVs, send them down there. Alright. So, because he's playing roaches, it's not as important to go for go for harassment. We're going to push the top base with a giant army. Just mass Marine Marauder. And we're just going to try and overwhelm, basically with raw numbers. The trick is to keep your army in a tight ball, especially because notice he's got 0-0. And we're going to hit a big 2-2 timing. This is one of the best ways to play against Roach Ravager. Now, what's weird here is we just saw he's building Zerglings and Mutalisks. Turrets. 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 Okay, we're going to break these rocks here. More Marines, more Marauders, more Marines, more tanks, more medevacs. It does look like he is swapping into Widow Mine Baneling style, so we'll get a second factory on the reactor so we can go back into Widow Mines as needed. And indeed, lots and lots of guys. Okay, so those Hellions, we're going to click in the mineral line on the bottom, guys, and we're going to move this army forward.
Our base is under attack. That's low.
Alright, that's going to go down, no worries.
What's going on?
Alright, these guys are just going to shift click the drones.
Upgrade is ready for use.
Been waiting on.
3-3 is almost done, guys.
What's that?
Say the word.
Who wants? By the numbers. This better be who wants. Armed and ready.
We're going to grab a small section of units, and we're going to stim these guys up.
Upgrade is ready for use.
And they're trying to just bait him in.
Upgrade complete.
Stim everything. F2, A move to reinforce. Stim. Remember, we're 2-2, he's 0-0. So we knew there's nothing he could do there. This was a really good time to force a fight. And we knew his army was not that heavy onto Lingbania. Let's make 3-3, more Marauders, more Marines, more Widow Mines and Medevacs now, because he swapped to that army, and we want to make a 4th base, but I don't have the money for it. Let's unsiege that tank. Let's F2 forward, guys. Nope, run away. Let's get out of there. No need to run into banelings, guys. Whoa, run away, run away! Siege the tanks. Bad micro for me, but not allowed to use my full APM.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Okay,
Our base is under
we'll
attack.
send some Marines down there. We'll build a new thing.
Gangway, coming through.
All right. Vehicle weapons, last couple of depots most likely. Grab these workers, put them on the natural. Add that to the control group. Build a few more SCVs to get back up to 66 guys. And if you can build a 5th and another command center, another turret, another command center up here, this is a good way to just make sure we basically can't lose this game. And this takes the pressure off me needing to kill him aggressively. And I normally wouldn't focus on this, but I'm focusing on it now. Let's just stim my whole army and try to catch that. I'm also going to grab a few Marines and a medevac to get rid of this. Oh, it's only 3 mutas? Okay, we're going to just F2 our army to the south, guys.
You gonna give me orders?
Our base is under left in that mineral
Go
cluster.
do this. Alright, he's being annoying. We'll cancel it, no worries. We'll just build a new one down here.
Yep. This better be good. Been waiting on you. Move on.
Control click the Marines, guys. Get ready to pull them back.
Our base is under attack.
Looks like we're okay. These guys are on auto repair, so they can repair the turret as needed.
Sure thing.
For now, it looks like we're just going to have to stim the
Nothing left in
Marines
that
up here,
mineral
A move,
cluster.
and come back to the front. Alright, just spread the units out a little bit,
Our
guys.
mineral field under attack.
Bring a few medevacs forward. And just, we're going to do the...
Our base is under
These guys
attack.
can basically be as annoying as we want.
Mined out a mineral field.
Whoops. Those banelings were a little closer than I thought.
We've completely mined out a mineral
These
field.
Marines are also... I'm like, just leave me alone, dude. Alright, I'm just going to leave those Marines there. Let's grab another force, guys. Lots of Marauders, lots of Marines. He's being a bit of a dickhead, isn't he? Alright.
In the rear with the gear.
Build a few more turrets. Make a planetary there. Make a few more SCVs. Grab half of them.
Been waiting on you.
Let's go down here.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster. Mineral field upgrade is
F2
ready for
stim,
use.
guys.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
These guys are going to stim into that base. The rest of this army already stimmed. If we can spread it a little, that'd be great. But it seemed like he was going for a big flank, and half of his army got kind of distracted on that command center. And as I said, these
Command
guys,
center
if
has
I
been upgraded.
move them back to the army, they'd come back in a big clump. Sometimes it's better to just counter strike and do more damage on the offense, because you don't want to ruin your formation. Anytime you're stimming at the Zerg in a ball, you're kind of giving them what they want.
Mined out a mineral field.
And it's really frustrating, because you're like, cool, A move to go help, and then you run over, and then like 5 banelings run into them and you kind of die. But if you can just kind of methodically remove their map control and keep pumping out of 8 ranks, you can do so much stuff. And like I said, similar to in our other one, if we can kill a base, I mean,
Mineral field
did he have a
complete.
base down here? No, my opponent's on 3 bases, guys. He's on 1, 2, 3 bases. So every second that goes by, as long as I keep spending my money and not totally falling apart and not clumping my whole army for banelings or infestors to kill, then we're going to basically have a really good time. But it's all about those pre-spreads and controlling all of our different units separately. Making sure we control the units separately. That's the big thing. Cute attack Dexter. Very nice. Yeah, getting up back up the ramp you guys saw is really big. And as long as you keep your Hellions alive, kind of behind SCVs and other units, you can always kill unlimited Zerglings. So it was a really good surprise maneuver. That's actually a good one to kind of go over really quickly. I should look at that replay. That's a really good point. Prize Ravager Ling attack. And even though I scouted, I didn't actually realize this was coming, right? I was trying to scout more to see what was happening, but I did not figure out what was going on in this game. So guys, in this game, I was trying to scout hard. Why was I trying to scout very hard? The reason is because I'd only seen 2 bases. Now, if I'd scouted then, I could have seen very few drones on this natural, big tell. But I was like, okay, let's just see. I haven't seen a 3rd base. Let's go find out what's happening. And Donkey Balls made a huge mistake by rallying lings to the front. So already I'm like, why are there 10 speedlings on my side of the map? Started evacuating SCVs. I did change my mind on that, but I probably could have just evacuated those and been fine. I built a safety bunker on the high ground. I set my rally points nice and far back. I start building Marauders as well as more Hellions here. I hadn't seen any Roaches, otherwise I could have started building a few Cyclones. As long as you got 4 Hellions, that should be good enough. But I do make a bit of a mistake here. Number one, I don't think I run these SCVs, do I? Okay, I do. But I lose a Hellion pretty early on. And this is very sloppy. You don't want to lose any Hellions in this scenario, but look at this Hellion up front. It goes down real quick. And that's not great. The other thing, I do pull SCVs and put them on auto repair, but he runs in the mineral line. Now notice all of his Roaches and Ravagers get killed by the bunker and the Liberator, and there's not that many to begin with, but it's the SCV mineral line that's in trouble. Pulling the SCVs and just running them away by mineral clicking, stacking them on the minerals over and over again, so the lings can't get a lot of surface area is big. And notice I wedged my Hellions in between the command center, so if he tried to surprise them by surrounding them, they would have been pretty well protected. I lose quite a few SCVs here, 9, but I've got triple orbital mule. I've got Liberators and Hellions to counterattack. My opponent's on 23 drones and has to rebuild Roaches soon just to stop themselves taking counter damage. And don't get me wrong, I could have had more urgency on clicking I could have immediately clicked the Liberator to siege his main, Hellions to click in the natural mineral line. Totally valid way to do this. And then macro while my units were going across the map. I opted to pull back, show you guys a slightly slower, more kind of careful version of what was going on to make sure that, you know, you don't get too excited and freak out. I was like, let's fix our macro, then do all that stuff. And that's a good way to do it. But what is the big thing? This was like a 4-minute surprise Ravager Ling attack. Pull to high ground. Build bunker. Back from ramp. A bunch of SCVs on auto repair. Near bunker. Keep Hellions back. Hellions alive to fight the lings. Make libs, marauders, anything you can to fight. And it's also optional, bring SCVs to fight, right? That's essentially it. You do not need to win, right? Keep in mind, this is a 23 SCV attack. You can drop to 10 SCVs and still be totally fine. Due to mules and your high-tech counter-harassment of Hellion lib that they'll struggle to deal with.
Add-on complete.
Chat says, drones, it's drones. I don't care. You guys know. Workers. SCVs, drones, and probes are completely interchangeable terms. If people can't figure that out, I gotta say, they're not gonna get very far. Alright guys, we're playing TVP versus a 4.3k Protoss, another player who's right around that edge of Master League. Big thank you, Wasted, for the sub as well. Holy crudsicles. Thank you so much for the love, everybody. It's a big old hype train. Okay, guys. So, we don't SCV scout because we're going for a Reaper and 2 Marines. So, this is just and anyone who's maybe missed my previous explanations on this, there's kind of a philosophy with this. Let's see if we can kill him. If you're investing in a scouting unit like the Reaper, and you're investing in 2 Marines and a bunker for safety, you don't really want to do that and also scout, because you're kind of investing so many things all in early game safety. You want to just invest one thing. So like, you know, if we go for all of that and an SCV scout, it kind of just is too much investment. And if our opponent's just doing a greedy build, we find ourselves way too far behind. So it's just one of those things where it's very important to have a bit of safety, but not go overboard. Because if you go overboard, things can definitely get really bad. All right, extra Marine. Get the bunker going at the front. We checked everywhere for proxies. Alright, let's just chill on that natural for a second. The Zealot comes in, your Reaper's here. So after you check for proxies, that's all good. And now we can go across the map for the scout. We can go for a bit of a scout there. Looks like I'd rallied to my own SCV, guys. Whoops. Let's build a reactor. And it looks like the Adept. So I clicked in the main. This must be walled off since my Reaper's going this way. Even though you can't see there, your Reaper already knows whether or not it can go up a cliff. It's kind of a funny little thing with how it works. Gateway and Twilight. Okay, guys. So we're just going to click that Reaper home. Starport. Get these guys on minerals. Looks like I didn't do a good job of queuing those up, did I? Alright, Cyclone. Remember, you always go Starport first, guys. If my Reaper died, that's fine. You need to focus on your macro first and foremost. We scouted that it's a Twilight build. Could technically be Dark Templar, but whatever it is, we'll be fine.
Command center has been upgraded.
SCVs, mules, and Gary can go up there and build a depot before continuing non-stop depot production. Let's get a medevac and another Cyclone. Our Reaper did survive, by the way, so I guess we can just check if there's a third base. Other than that, just keep building Marines and SCVs. And Gary can, of course, build another depot. Cool. Alright, so we're going to come in with these Marines and catch the Adept. Nice. The two barracks. Queuing up a few SCVs right now. We're waiting for that tech lab. And sending that up the top. Awesome. Alright guys, dropping mules, building Marines, making sure these guys are hotkeyed. Build another depot.
Add-on complete.
Alright. We're gonna boost in again.
Add-on is up and running.
Tank, Raven. More SCVs and mules, guys, as many as we can. And alright. Now, because he's got Stalkers there, I don't really want to headbutt into the Stalkers, so I just left my Marines where they are. These guys are going to go in, and now these guys are going to click in the mineral line, and I'm going to micro these Cyclones. Quick, pull back if we can, and just go home. And then if we can micro these guys, just to click. And that's probably going to go down now. If you can kill another probe, that's great. Try and target that. Let's go home. SCVs, build Marines. Get more units in a sec. For now though, Engineering Bay, more of these, more of that. Marauders, Stim, Shields, Marines. Okay. So we're going to put guys in the bunker. We're going to put the tank up here on the high ground. Put an SCV out front your base. We're worried about 4-gate blink, guys. Get those 2 more barracks. Gary's going to keep building depots. He's going to get a friend. Going to F2 up here, guys. More Marauders, more Marines. And remember, we need to pull SCVs in front to tank so we don't lose our Marauders. If we lose our Marauders, we're in big doo-doo. Let's unload the bunker. That comes up here as well. We're building more Marauders, more Marines, more medevacs. Try to move forward. It's okay to lose SCVs, guys. Rebuild SCVs, rally back to the main, and just keep macroing. Now, why? How can you macro like this? What the hell, Pig? This is bullshit. We held the attack. We crushed the attack. Why? I sacrificed a lot of economy to do it, but I've still got a big army up. So I know my army's better than his. I just need to make sure that I don't get friggin' killed, you know, right now. So send some Marines back to the bunker. Leave the rest in the sort of middle zone. And we need Tech Lab, Reactor, Depot, more Marauders, more Marines, +1 weapons, Widow Mines, Medevacs, and Concussive Shells.
Research complete.
And that was a huge hold. Remember, when we move out, we want to make sure we start the armory. We're at 50 SCVs, so we can cancel SCVs, guys. We don't need any more. These will be the last couple of scans we build. Now, he killed my Raven, guys. So I do want to scan probably just here when I move out, because there's normally an observer there. Some of you can see it.
We're done with the research.
I did not see it. I actually just thought of it. I was like, well, we don't have our Raven, so we should probably make sure. So just move your Marines like this, guys. Drop a scan. And oh, nice harassment by him. Gotta be careful with that sort of play, mate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, guys. So we're gonna F2. Grab this, get the armory started behind it. Remember, it's always good to do harassment as you move out. If you can do a Widow Mine drop, that's basically one of the best things you can do. Sell the bunker. And we're just going to keep building lots of bio, lots of Widow Mines, lots of medevacs, and of course, a few more depots. Drop a supply drop. Alright, so because the Widow Mine drop goes on the left, we'll attack on the left. We don't want to stim everything, guys, just a few of the guys up front. He's trying to fight. You never want to try and fight. The moment the bio stims, you want to run away. Big mistake for him. Because he's still fighting, we're just going to keep jumping on him.
Ready for dust off.
Alright, these guys are just going to chill. And we're going to do that Widow Mine drop that we talked about. You go there, and then you go there, and then you go there. Remember, hands off the keyboard.
Upgrade complete.
All you need to do is select the Widow Mine and click bar. And you can macro in between while watching this. Macro, macro, macro. Select that, and then run the Widow Mine away. And because we've got armory, he needs to send observers to those bases to kill it, which is a nightmare for him. That's so annoying for him to deal with. And he doesn't actually have his shield battery up yet, guys, so we're going to just run in here and click on that Colossus. That should be a very decisive game there. Lots of Marines, Marauders, Widow Mines. We got a lot of damage done with our Cyclone drop, which did a crazy amount of damage. Just remember, whenever you're in their base, always have that timer in your head, like, okay, I found damage. Let's pull out. They're reacting, let's pull out. And that's something, the better you get at that, the better it is. Now, this obviously went great, because we almost killed a Stalker. We got all of his attention down here. And even though he is going 4-gate blink, he warps in everything there, and then bam, we surprise him. Now, I arguably could have just sent my Marines and Reaper home, but we do a crazy amount of damage. He doesn't... Oh, he did actually kill the medevac. Okay, I thought I got that medevac out of there, but now that I think about it, yeah, I never found it. So good on him for catching it, but I even kill an Adept there at the end. I get another probe. Even without knowing it's 4-gate blink, and for some reason I actually didn't think it was 4-gate blink. I actually thought he had a third. But I was like, remember what we talked about in the previous game? Just because we're only building one tank, it's very important you just non-stop build Marauders the moment those swap over. Marines, Marauders, Marines, Marauders. And I micro it a lot more than I normally do with this scenario, right? But we put an SCV out front so that if he's coming in with Stalkers, we can pull SCVs to repair our bunker in time. And otherwise, we're going to be pretty good, you know, up on the high ground. Now, he blinks in and gets our tank very quickly, but you can see these two Marauders popping out do massive damage to him. I immediately pull SCVs down as well. We unload our bunker, which we're pretty slow to do, to be fair. Normally, I would do that way quicker, but you guys know I'm slowing my APM down. I haven't actually been looking at my APM at all, but yeah, we're in Diamond 1. I'm still playing at 150 APM, so I'm still playing much slower than I normally do, which is good, because that's kind of the whole goal, is I don't want to be spamming all that much. I don't know what my APM normally is with Terran, probably 250, I would guess 220, something like that. But definitely there are a lot of things I'm still kind of holding myself back on, and it's basically game over once we hold that. Remember that with a 4-gate blink, you got to understand the context of what's happening. They don't have anything. They're on 38 workers. There's no Colossus. There's no third base. There's no follow-up. So if you defend, even if you lose a lot of units, if you trade evenly with the Protoss, you're a 2-base Terran, they're 2-base Protoss, that's good for you as Terran. You're making Stim Bio, which outtrades these Stalkers. It's going to take them a while to get a good Colossus count or Storm count up. You're just in a way better spot. So as long as you survive that without like losing your Stim or anything like that, you're in a great spot. GG's. Well played, Summon. Oh, didn't need to tell. Alright guys, we're going to play like this is a random player anyway, because you cannot trust a random player. You cannot trust a random player on the ladder unless you know who they are and you know that they're trustworthy. Definitely, it's a risky proposition, man. So I'm just going to put those guys on gas there. Did it a little bit messy. Kind of pulling dudes off minerals onto gas, but it is what it is. And one more worker. Alright guys, we got ourselves a Terran versus random. They've claimed their Zerg, but we're just going to play as if it isn't. Now, I normally would scout earlier than this, so if it was a Terran, I could drop that second gas in time and do my normal build. But it is indeed a Zerg. So we have a slightly botched build order, but it's not massively botched. It doesn't make too big a difference. Now, we're just going to hang around to check if he's going for gas or not. And it looks like gas impulse. This is a standard build, nothing crazy whatsoever. Let's go up, build the depot, and then build that factory. So our Reaper can rally straight across this map, everybody.
Command
Build
center
an
has been
SCV, build a
upgraded.
mule. And we're looking pretty damn good. Just making sure this SCV's queued, the rally points are set, all those little details. Build a marine factory. And then a reactor. I didn't know if we saw the Overlord or not. We'll just keep the marine on the high ground for now.
I'm listening.
And we're just going to move in like that. Queue up and attack move. Alright guys, before we micro that Reaper, we need that reactor started. And it looks like we caught him going for that third base.
Nothing I
You want to shoot, move, shoot, A click, right click, A click, right click. Now that's 6 lings, so we need to get out of here. Or he could surround us. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, that was a little stressful. Let's build that third command center there.
Yeah, baby.
If you want, you can do some micro here. This is just to try to scare him back. And you just hang. Alright. Keep rallying to the main. Let's make the orbital.
Add-on complete.
Get the starport and the second gas. Keep building SCVs here, guys. Just being a little bit sloppy on this game. I accidentally just remade my second camera location, which is a mistake. Alright, we've got those 2 Hellions on the way. Let's check if the third base went up
Command
and then
center
come
has
back
been
because
upgraded.
ling speed finishes at about 3 minutes 30. Normally off a hatchery first. No third base, interestingly. 2 guys on gas. Rally down there. Alright.
Add-on is up and running.
So first 2 Hellions we almost always want to just go across the map and have a look around with. Liberator, we'll try to rally across the map. And remember, because it's a 3 command center build, we don't need Gary to start building stuff yet. We want the rest of our Hellions rallied at home for the moment. Orbital command center. Keep building Hellions when we can. We don't want to run up the ramp because there's probably queens there.
What's it worth?
And when we have 200 minerals, we want to build 2 more units. So guys, we're going to send our Reaper through for a scout because my opponent doesn't seem to have a third base. And that's crazy.
Command
We're now
center
going to build these 2 extra barracks. And it looks like there's spore crawlers. Plenty of drones. We don't really see an idea. We see a lot of drones, so it's not like a really fast all-in. And there's no lair. So we're just going to go home. Build a reactor, build stim. Make sure that Liberator is hotkeyed.
Are you ready?
And let's get the depot started. We can now go double engineering bay.
I'm going.
Get the wall off complete. More SCVs and mules. More marines.
This better be good. SCV ready.
Get these barracks hotkeyed. The next 2 barracks hotkeyed. Oh, I forgot to build the gases, guys. Gases are meant to go down just after those engineering bays. That's a little sloppy. Alright, guys. Liberator's going to come in and try to siege in the back. We're going to be careful of that spore crawler because he knows we're coming. And our Hellions will click in the front.
add-on complete.
Alright, but he's got a lot of lings, so our Hellions are just going to go home. Alright. Swap these over. Get 1-1 started. Queue up lots of SCVs. Rally to the gas. Alright, let's just use this to defend the third, guys. Use the SCV, queue it to repair those. Cancel those. Rally. Alright. 2 more reactors. Lots of marine production now that we've got actual reactors on barracks. Combat shields, widow mines, and soon medevacs once we're able to. Now, we haven't been building depots in a little bit, so let's do a supply drop. And Gary and Bruce can non-stop build depots, except we should be walling off our base because it's Zerg versus Terran. So let's wall off over there. This can be Gary and Bruce.
Add-on is up and running.
Lots of SCVs. And, more importantly, lots of barracks. So 3 barracks, and remember the armory and the 3 barracks can usually be timed about the same moment in the game. And that will work out quite well. Let's look at our upgrades. Normally with non fast 8 racks builds, you could just get the armory before any other production. But with an 8 racks build, you can squeeze those barracks in before the next step. Now, medevacs haven't really been building, which is really rough. So let's do that now. And we can start moving out across this map. Gary and Bruce have not been building depots. Alright, let's go. So we're gonna go down there. Oh. Try and kill this overseer.
Ready for dust off.
3 tech labs. He has this front base, right? Yes,
Upgrade
he does.
is ready for use.
2-2 starts, Marauders, Marines, more depots.
Research complete. Add-on is up and running.
More Fellbats, Burrow Widow Mines, spread units out.
Been waiting on you. By the get
Spread Widow Mines out.
you gonna give me orders?
Our SCVs are under fire.
Mineral Walk to Natural.
10 more. It's heating up out here.
Burrow Widow Mines. Okay. F2 A move.
Now
This
what?
better be good.
Grab SCVs. Move there. Build more.
What's going on?
Take 4. More Marauders, more Marines. These guys also.
Been waiting. Who wants some?
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
Ready.
Okay.
Mineral field.
This better be good.
Alright, we've got the 4th base on the way.
By the number.
Remember, you're meant to be doing drops as well, guys.
In the pipe.
Been waiting on you. Who wants some?
I'm building more Marines right now because my Marine count's very low. If you don't have a lot of Marines, you can't kill anything. If you can't kill anything, then you're screwed. Notice we're just clicking on all those,
Picking up or dropping?
telling that drop to just unload next to that building hatchery. Notice he's got great creep spread.
We could use some help here. Of course.
Alright,
Drop.
gonna redrop that there.
Give me this better been waiting on you.
Alright, we're gonna put some Widow Mines out on the edges because it does feel like the sort of game where he's gonna try and backstab me a lot.
Upgrade complete.
Ready for pickup? Let's go. Loud.
Who wants some?
Let's try and march these forward,
By
yeah?
the numbers, boy.
We've completely mined out a mineral field.
Armed and ready. Been waiting on you.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
This better be good.
Talk to me.
Armed and you gonna give who wants some? Been waiting on you.
For hitting our SCVs. That's low.
We could use some help here. Armed and ready.
Get behind the mineral line. The SCV's back. These guys are gonna go over there.
Been waiting.
These guys are gonna stim into the mineral line.
Who wants some? We could use some help here. Yep.
More depots.
Sure thing.
F2A move to the front.
Upgrade complete.
These guys are winning. I keep waiting for the banelings to show up. They're gonna drop there.
Dropping off.
This
Wait
drop
on you.
is gonna redrop the top. These guys are gonna go down here.
Nothing left in that
Gonna
mineral
drop the
cluster.
bottom again. Let's go for 3-3. Build more command center.
Yeah, whatever.
Stim these guys.
Picking up or
Drop the
dropping
main
off?
base. Oh, we don't want to pick up into that low hit point medevac, guys.
Acknowledged.
But we can redrop there.
You gonna give me orders? Who wants? Been waiting on you. That's
Now
Drop on the low ground. Spread. If these guys get hit by banelings, they're all going to die because we're not looking at them.
Roger that.
Drop the main.
dropping off. Picking up or
Okay.
dropping off.
More Marines, more Marauders, more Widow Mines. We're supply blocked. We probably have been for a long time.
And ready.
We've got 3-3 on the way,
Better be good.
and we're pumping bio. And we're attacking in multiple places, and that's all that
Where's
matters.
the emergency?
Alright.
Want some?
Alright, these guys are just going to keep pushing forward. So what do we do? Back to
Completely
methodical.
mined out a mineral field.
These guys going to be my new drop since that on the left side, since that other one got cleaned up. More Marauders, more
Mineral field
Marines, more Widow Mines, more Medevacs.
Where's the emergency?
Alright,
Well, hallelujah.
and go up here. Okay. These guys are going to kill those.
Roger that. This better be good.
Here's your
Redrop the
stop.
left side, maybe? We'll just go back and heal, actually.
You gonna get
Talk to me.
Pick up, go back to the spread.
armed by the number?
As long as he doesn't clear the spread, he's going to run out of space. Giant army coming through the middle.
Now,
You gonna give me
These guys drop back same spot. I don't think we need to force the fight because we don't actually have that many units here. Just trying to stem and pull back. And here comes the giant army from behind. That's going to be game ending. So these guys move forward and spread, spread,
Upgrade is ready
spread.
for use.
These guys go there. Those guys go there. Spread, 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 spread.
Completely mined out a mineral field.
But these guys, they're still alive. Okay. And we just saw an Ultra, so you want to build more Liberators and more Marauders as a focus. Move the Medevacs back.
You gonna give me
These guys can click in there. Oh! Just gonna F2 stim, guys. Hands off the keyboard. Pre-spread should do its magic here. Should do its magic. No micro, no micro, no micro. We already did the micro in the previous minutes. So micro these guys instead. More Marauders, more Marines. I never really got my 4th and 5th up mining properly, guys. We're gonna focus on it now.
A Vespine guide.
GG, well played. Very well done on creep. So he's- so we saw there really good creep spread from him. And if you just start going in with those drops on all sides, it's really, really effective, man. Now, don't get me wrong, I can do things like put more bunkers out for safety. People always ask me why I don't do that. But I truly feel the
center has
Widow
been
Mines on the
upgraded.
edges are even higher value than doing that.
by the number?
And I think that's absolutely a totally okay way of doing it. Now, how many medevacs did I have? 9 at the end? So I wasn't building them. I'd started building Liberators because I
Mineral
did feel
field
they'd just give me
depleted.
more value as time went on.
Big job.
But I really feel just getting the hang of setting up pre-splits on the front while dropping the back and establishing just a little bit of map control and kind of vision so that you can run SCVs away and use your rally point to defend repeatedly is really, really nice, right? It's applying pressure consistently while macroing consistently, and it makes such a big difference. It's a real game changer. And you see just how much aggression we do off not that many bases as well. Technically, I could take more bases a lot earlier. We can focus on that, but I think we're trying to just focus really hard on setting up the engagements correctly. And I think the units lost tab is going to be disgusting. And indeed it is. Better than 2.5 to 1. So it's all about the multi-prong drops there. And notice just never... The only times I F2'd was when I'd kind of won a few engagements in different areas and I went, sick. I want everything to group up on the front now. But I never was F2ing to the front, and I'm always very clear at vocalizing it so you guys can pick up on it. I'm never doing it indiscriminately. I'm only F2ing to the front when it really makes sense to do it. Otherwise, I don't want to screw up the drop back here or anything like that. And a little trick you can do is if you've got a drop that's, say, fighting in the back, but you want to F2 everything except that to the front, all you do is F2 and shift right click or shift A move to the front. And what that means is every unit you tell to do that is going to finish their current order before they go move to that point. So units sitting at your rally point, they don't have an order. They're just going to immediately do the shift command because they're like, well, we didn't have an order, we'll just go do it. Whereas if these guys have been A-moved, they're going to finish A-moving, fighting everything near them before they try to move to this point, right? So that just works out kind of nicely. Honorban says, do you even use tanks versus Zerg? Yeah, we're just working on a Widowmine style right now. If your opponent goes roaches, we do swap into siege tanks, but otherwise just being very focused on the Widowmine style. And you can still play Widowmines versus Lingbane as well. Sorry, Widowmines versus roaches as well. Likewise, you can use tanks versus Lingbane. Tanks are just less mobile. They are slower to build, and it's a little bit more like you're really focusing hard on one push. Whereas Widowmines are a bit more flexible. You pump them out very quickly, and it's more about just creating kind of zones of control and pressuring multiple areas and fighting in multiple areas on the map. And it works really, really nicely because you can replace them really well. They get bigger payoff whenever the opponent's not watching and doesn't realize they're getting hit by Widowmines. So the more stress you create for your opponent, the Widowmine hits start getting bigger and bigger. Taylor Swift is worth $1.1 million. Seems a little low, mate.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't think she's a... Is she a billionaire? Is she worth $1 billion?
What's going?
It's pretty high for an artist.
SCV
But
ready.
she's pretty famous. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. I always hear, you guys know the Trouble song. I always hear the Day 9 remix. It's where it's like Day 9 and it's the goat screeching. I always fucking, every single time. I still call it the goat song. That's like the first time I've remembered the name of the song was Trouble. Alright guys, we're playing TVP versus Taylor Swift.
SCV ready.
She's pretty good at StarCraft. She plays Protoss though, no surprises. You'd think someone...
SCV ready.
She can play instruments, right? You'd think someone who could play instruments could play a harder race than Protoss, but... Maybe she wants to preserve her fingers for playing piano and whatever. Jeez. Alright. Nice solid opening so far. Been really cool. I've been a bit selfish for this Bronze to GM because I've been meaning to learn this 2 Marine after the Reaper opening with no Scout for a long time since I see Bian and Maru and all these guys use it so much. So it's been really fun using Bronze to GM as an excuse to learn this build. People asking about the skin set that we're using. Someone was saying, I think you guys know what it is. I think
Command center has
someone
been
said it
upgraded.
earlier. I forget what this skin set's called. Tirador, yeah, that's it. Thank you, mate. Alright guys, check around for proxy gates. I'm gonna get that factory started straight away. Don't be dilly-dallying on that. That's Gary, by the way. He's gonna keep building that sort of stuff. Second Marine on the way, bunker on the way. Haven't found any proxies yet, which is good. Second gas goes down. Alright. Well, I don't see any Zealot, so I think we should be good. It's 2 Marines, let's build a reactor. And let's rally onto gas. Oh, we got hit by someone, but I think the bunker should be ready in time. That is kind of the whole point of the build. Oh, hello. Let's make the orbital just hide over there, guys.
Our base is under attack.
I'm gonna make a Cyclone first. Normally I make the medevac first, but it is what it is. I didn't actually look at the tech because I'm an idiot who got distracted. Starport's on the way. Is that a depth leaving?
Add-on
Twilight.
complete.
Twilight Robo, guys. Alright, we can go back to mining. So my Cyclone pressure is going to be delayed because
Command
that
center has
adept
been upgraded.
made me build a Cyclone first. Arguably, is it even out earlier than my Marines? Not really. So I don't think I needed to react. So I think that was entirely unnecessary, guys. Oh, nice adept pressure, guys. Alright, we're gonna go kill the adept though. If that adept's still here, it's dead. Alright, Gary is meant to build a depot after the starport. We'll just build it with that guy, get the medevac going. Oh, he's gonna try and go for the SCV.
Piece of me, boy. Been waiting on you.
Okay. Jeez.
Who wants some?
Alright, we're gonna do this more like a frontal push then, I guess. SCVs, mules, get the second and third barracks, get these 2 tech labs going.
Ready for dust off.
Go, go, go!
Alright, we got 2 barracks, we got the add-ons, the engineering bay coming down, double gases,
Add-on
Gary's
is up
building
and running.
depots, we'll queue up another one, queue up some more SCVs and mules.
Arm, you gonna give me orders?
Ready for pickup.
These guys are gonna get picked up and
Add-on
go in the main,
complete.
and these guys are gonna walk in the natural. Alright guys, extra SCVs, extra marines, so we don't have to look at that stuff.
Lights here.
Holy shit, this does not look good. Marines are gonna run home, guys. Cyclones go into the base. Everything else, go home now. Raven, tank on the way. More Marines. Alright, get out, get out, get out. We're gonna hide in the very back corner because I can't get home in time. Alright, guys. We're gonna build a bunker on the high ground because this looks like a really fierce attack. How do I know? So this is a really technical analysis you guys should learn. Basically, if they're coming at you with what feels like a fuck ton of shit, then you want to be basically reacting as much as you possibly can, okay? So we'll put a few auto repair SCVs there. Keep building workers. I'm gonna put this tank back there. I am gonna lift that off.
Our
I'm gonna
base
build
is
another
under
tank.
attack.
Oh! Okay.
Right away.
The auto repair on. Build another tech lab.
SCV ready.
Keep building SCVs. Put back on gas.
Yep.
Keep building 2 more barracks when I get a chance.
Our base is under attack.
Okay. So guys, this is a very scary situation.
Armed and ready.
But because we have 2 tanks, as long as we don't move them both down, we'll be fine.
By the numbers. What's going on?
Pull back.
Add-on complete.
Just
More Marines, more Marauders.
This better be good.
say the word.
You gonna give me orders?
SCV's mass repair. Oh my god, he killed it? Okay, that's a lot more guys than I expected. Well done.
Go ahead. Go, go, go. Yes, sir.
These are the sort of mistakes you make if you're not as fast. I definitely normally would react a little quicker than that, but it is what it is. Gotta simulate the play, right? This feels like an all-in, guys. This does not feel like a chilled out play by any means.
Sure. Keep your shirt on.
Upgrade complete.
Command scanning battlefield. State your arms and your
Who wants?
ready for
Alright.
Ready.
Alright guys, he doesn't seem to be using an observer, so we're gonna go harass across the map. Keep building tanks.
We're done with the research.
We are gonna put guys on gas. Gonna try and stim after him. That's a terrible move. He has mass blink stalkers, guys.
command.
Raven over there. So I accidentally still had my Raven on my army key. So let's F2, control shift out the Raven, put it on a control group. More Marines, more Marauders, 4th barracks. We're gonna swap to reactor,
Big job, huh?
get that 5th barracks.
Yeah.
That's our full 2 base production, okay?
Our
Apparently he killed the
SCVs are under
SCV, by the
fire.
way.
You gonna
Our
give me
base is
orders?
under attack.
Great play by him.
This better be good. I'm gonna
Alright.
go away. Coming through.
We're done with it.
Really good multitasking by my opponent.
Sure.
Our base is under attack.
Ready for service.
1 is up and running.
Control shift the tanks out of the control group.
Understood.
We're gonna build a single guy.
This who wants some? Looking forward. 10 more.
Extra SCVs there.
Scanning battlefield. State your request.
Okay. We're gonna rally the Viking down there.
What's going on?
Command center has been upgraded.
I don't know how that got pulled home again, but I guess it did. Alright. Well, we basically got to go for one big all-in, guys. F2 down there, shift click with the Viking.
State. Scanning. Command.
Oh, it's on.
Funny, because there's a lot of things in StarCraft you really just want to do with muscle memory. That's basically what I don't let myself do in this show, which is interesting. Leads to some bizarre results.
Scanning battle.
Alright. More Marines, more Widow Mines.
State.
Now, he should be able to kill me here, but we're just going to go for one giant push, guys, and see if we can get something done.
Coming through. Kaboom, baby. Got a
Bring all these guys forward.
Wait.
You gonna
Well,
want some?
Wait.
he doesn't have charge. He's forgot to make charge. Oh. Forgot to make charge. Drop auto turrets. Notice we pulled away there.
This better be good.
If I can get rid of the Colossus, we win the game. Is there no base on the left? Oh!
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
There was a moment where I literally thought I might be getting trolled by someone who was smurfing, guys.
Sure.
But this is a rule of StarCraft. If it feels like your opponent's too good at the game, it's because they're very good at something, but they might be messing up on other things. And that's what happened there. Because T-Swift forgot charge and didn't make Archons. And that's very lucky for me. Whew! Because T-Swift's aggression was really well done. Very decisive. But if we just look at the end there, you can see that T-Swift only got the third started at like 7 minutes 40. So very, very late. And whilst they did start up Colossus, they went for really awkward macros. So what do I mean by that? Well, they've got 4 gates, but then they're like, they build 2 more gates, which is not bad. That's fine, actually. They make a forge. All they need to do here is go for 8-gate charge Archon, but you can tell that T-Swift is basically just a little bit too focused. Well, not focused, probably experience-wise, has just been doing lots of all-ins and isn't as clean on the next step. So for me, you could throw me in as the Protoss player, about 8 minutes 30, whatever it is, somewhere around here, and there's going to be a really clear focus. To simplify things, what you need to do as the Protoss player, and this is good advice for T-Swift, is don't be building 2 random gates. You've already got 4 gates, you don't need 2 gates. Simplify the build, right? So Colossus production, range +1 is perfect. The next most important thing, though, is to go 4 more gates, then charge, then Templar Archives. Because that hits a very familiar convergence point that most Protoss players should know, which is you've got 3 mineral lines, you've got 8-gate Zealot production, you've got 2 to 3 Colossus coming out, and then a Warp Prism, and then you're adding Archons on top of it. And that is like a beautiful timing. Is 3 Colossus, you could do it with 2, add a bunch of Archons, and just go Archon, Zealot, Colossus timing is one of like the strongest things that you can possibly do. But luckily for me, T-Swift forgot the charge, which is really lucky for me. Probably thought they started it. Actually, they do chrono it here. Yeah. They're also taking gases on the 3rd, which just isn't necessary in this scenario. All you need to do is go for 8 gateways, right? You should always be like thinking, okay, 8 gateways plus non-stop Colossus production, but forgot to keep building Colossus here, which is massive. And instead is microing the Prism. And then is making a second forge as well. So this is what I'm talking about, where there's kind of too many different things happening. So the second forge doesn't really make sense unless you're planning to go to a much longer game. You also don't need 64 probes. So when you've been very aggressive in the early game, there's two things that always hold true. You need an earlier fourth than normal, and you don't need as many probes because you're going to be able to pull half your probes off your main at 8 minutes 30, and at 11.5 minutes, you're going to be able to pull half the probes off your natural because the minerals will run out. So already, you don't need the gases, should be 6 less probes, that's 58, and you could transfer 4 more of those down. And 6, so you could basically be like on 50 probes right now and have a sick economy advantage as Taylor Swift because you have a third base, I don't. I'm only on 30 workers. I got absolutely butchered, right? So if Taylor Swift just did that, I was screwed in this game. I was super dead. Even as it is, I still should have lost if T-Swift, if she just chronoed charge once more instead of chronoing her upgrade and pulled back. Just give the base up. So all T-Swift should have done is pull the army back, fight with the Stalker and the Colossus, just doing like stutter step and blink back, try to bait some stims out without really committing, but keep the Zealots in the back, and just run the probes away. Just run the probes to this base, build a new Nexus there if you want. Templar Archives is finished, so make Archons with all this gas as well, and just wait for charge to finish. One of the big mistakes that a lot of players make is always trying to fight the moment their opponent arrives at their base. Whereas right now, I'm strong, my opponent's weak. If my opponent waits for anti-armor missile to wear off, waits for charge to kick in, waits for a round of Archons to warp, 0% chance. 0 micro required, I will lose this 100% of the time. So let's go back, and let's take a look. So, Observer sees me coming, Marines try to walk in, and I do click them home. And I was hoping here that they would make it home while the Cyclones distract, right? Or if they get killed, it means I get a lot of damage. And to be fair, I do get a lot of damage done, guys. We get like 7-8 probes here. And I keep the Cyclones alive in the back, which I'm going to F2 later to their death and forget about. So keep your eyes on that. That's going to be funny when that happens. Unfortunately, I lose all my Marines on the way home. But there was a bigger thing. Before we went in for our pressure, because the opening was a little different, this is a great example of how small changes in the build. That Adept coming in, no one's been Adept pressuring me. So guess what? I went, oh, I probably need to build a Cyclone. But remember, even in the game, I realized you do not need to build a Cyclone. You should still follow the build order. And what's the build order? Starport, then Cyclone. Because then you can line up the medevac with the 2 Cyclones much better. But instead, I delay to get the Cyclone started here. Unnecessary. Start the Starport, then start the Cyclone. The Marines can defend this Adept. Losing a bit of mining time is not a big deal. It does not matter. So that's a huge mistake. Why is that a huge mistake? Because that meant, because my drop was late, I ended up moving out with all my units at once at the front, which is different to how I've been doing it. And because I was a bit more distracted by that, my barracks are a little later, number 1. Not the end of the world. But number 2, I forget to start the Raven and the tank. And it's very important for me to start the Raven and the tank before committing to the micro, because otherwise I can't look back at home, swap the add-ons, start Marauder production. So here we make a terrible mistake. We forget to macro before we micro. Remember, whenever you're about to go in with aggression, as you're moving across that map, I should be queuing up more SCVs and mules. I do have 2 SCVs queued per command center, which is not bad. I should be queuing up more Marines, but more importantly, the Raven and the tank, because I need the Raven and the tank. And then when I look at home 30 seconds from now, after my micro is done, I can do it. Now, in the midst of that, start up these units off my control group. So I did remember to start my Raven and tank without too much delay, but I still could have started that a little bit earlier there for sure, right? So try to make sure you start that Raven and tank on time. And I kept building tanks because I could see how many Stalkers were coming across the map. I knew this was a very aggressive build. Oh, he killed his own Stalker there. Thank you, T-Swift. She. Don't want to misgender the T-Swift. Yeah. I definitely should have kept SCVs repairing that bunker. Losing bunker control on the natural is a disaster. So, in general, if you do see very fearsome counterattacks coming, keep building tanks. Try to make sure you're a bit better at repairing where possible. Did he just kill another Stalker? She? Dude, T-Swift destroyed. Unfortunately, the most kills I was getting in this early game, I think, was T-Swift killing her own units. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh no. Never mind. Cool. So we should have lifted that command center and pulled it back. The worst thing you can do is move all your tanks too far out and lose them. Losing the command center was not as bad as if I just lose my tanks, I lose the game. So just keep in mind, you want to keep your tanks covering each other. So if they come in range of one tank, they will take damage from the other tank. That's why I'm moving down methodically. Losing gases is not a big deal. I just was a little slow to react here. And if I lifted that, pulled it away, it would have been fine. As your tank count grows, as stim kicks in, shields kicks in, medevacs kick in, the stalkers become very crappy units. So you've got to just keep that in mind and you'll do okay. There was an observer down here. I hope I kill that. Yeah, it looks like it dies here. Now this is a kind of scary one because there's so many stalkers. I felt like because he blinked in, I should be able to do good damage, but you can see great micro for T-Swift. And tank's just not quite covering. Now, if you guys really struggle against this build, something you can do is instead of, you can actually build a bunker here with depots there and then put the tank like here. You can go tank to tank. And then they kind of cover part of the high ground and it's very hard for them to blink on the tanks to deal with them and your natural's covered as well. Yeah. I feel she could have won the game there. Maybe. I mean, she could have won the game macroing out of it was the better option. The Prism Zealot drop was kind of unnecessary here in that they were slow Zealots, but still did some decent damage. Well done, T-Swift. Well done. This is a really, really sick game from T-Swift. So, in hindsight, try to keep those tanks alive, guys, is really important. And make sure you keep those bunkers alive. So even if you need 8 SCVs just surrounding the bunker on auto repair, do it. It's so important to keep these 2 bunkers alive and to let your tanks get out. That's one big one. The other one is make sure you always go starport before Cyclone. And look at that, man. Imagine if I built a tank at 4 minutes 28. Instead, I built it at 4:53. So I could have almost had a siege tank out already. And that would be huge. Because if I had one more tank this whole time, it changes everything. Or if I'd swapped over and had more Marauders out, that also works. Any maps I like out of this patch, I'm enjoying all of them. There's gold bases, there's lots of spread out bases. I mean, the map pool, I think, has been a massive success. I almost want to make a YouTube video just being like, the map pool has been a massive success. Because as much as I know there's still some worries about TVP, and I share them a little bit, curious to see where that goes, kind of the mid to late game Protoss army and all that sort of stuff. I kind of look at it like the maps have given us so many fun games. So many fun games. Like already we're seeing so many different games. And
Operation commencing.
It's great. Like we just have so many good games. Alright, here we go, guys. So we're playing a TVT versus Squirrel. Squirrel had to pause there for a second, no worries. And this is awesome, guys. I'm really enjoying it because I'm really getting a lot of like just focus on the builds and remembering how to react to different things and teaching it at the same time as I'm remembering it. I haven't played too many of these builds recently, but B2GM has been giving me a good reason to. Thank you, Waterdrop, for the massive 100-month resub.
SCV ready.
Hey. You know what's funny, Waterdrop? You know we've been having a lot of Waterdrop sponsorships recently.
Bad news.
I've-
SCV ready.
I guess it's not the craziest name. It's just funny, because you've been one of my oldest subs.
In the rear.
And now there is a product with your name
SCV ready.
that I've been quite hooked on. Alright guys, what are we doing? Anyways, let's go. We're going to check for Proxy Marauder down that left side. Reaper will go down the right side, check for any proxy barracks close to us. Remember guys, if you're going to search for proxies, don't search for proxies and scout across the map and take a billion safety precautions. We're checking for proxies specifically because I'm not scouting. I'm playing very, very blind. So checking for proxies nearby with this SCV and then this Reaper, because the Reaper's not planning to go across the map anyway. So we might as well just have a little look around our side of the map before getting on our ramp to defend.
Huh? Agreed.
Okay, we go there, down here, and then here.
What's going on? Bad news. SCV ready.
Command center's on the way. Alright, we can start a Hellion.
What's going on? Huh?
The moment you start the
SCV
command
ready.
center, we do like to get back on gas. Get the reactor. Starport. And then we want to build that depot.
SCV ready.
Remember, it's depot and SCV. Sorry, starport and then depot, I mean. Alright.
Got
There's a little gap in production here, but nothing too big, guys. As long as we keep the SCVs up, we are all good. We start the Cyclone.
I'm listening. All right.
Have a little poke out front our base, see if there's anything coming in.
Yeah, baby.
Remember, it's nice to get good at spreading your units out, guys. But we're going to stay on the ramp for
Add-on
now.
complete.
Not important to do that just yet.
Agreed.
Whoops, Tech Lab. For a second, I was going for a medevac. Gary, that built the depot, the factory, starport, can now build the gas on the natural. Well, technically, actually, he didn't build the depot, but shh. Don't ruin my narrative.
Add-on is up and running.
SCV ready.
Interference matrix will be up soon, guys. There we go. Just waiting for the 50 minerals, 50 gas. Just starting a Raven and that.
Add-on complete.
Get a tank in the near future as well.
Channel's clear, boss.
Alright, I'm just going to leave everything on the
Command
natural,
center has
guys.
been upgraded.
And if we get dropped in the main, we'll just react very quickly. It's time to build non-stop SCVs, mules, but depots should be pretty much non-stop from now. That's what I was going to say before I got distracted. We can put this out on the left if we want this Raven, just to give ourselves early warning of anything flying in there.
In the rear
And we'll
with
put
the
another
gear.
depot there.
Fueled up, ready to go.
Alright, so if we want, we can just send a Reaper across the map, try and see what's up.
Lay it on me.
Build a tank. Keep
Research
building
complete.
SCVs. Just remember, we always commit to that timing attack. I think we can beat him because of the grenade.
Nothing I can't handle.
Let's go to that tower. Alright, let's just go to Ravens, guys. You guys know I prefer to do it that way rather than 3. 3 Ravens can be nice. Be more SCVs. Let's get a 3rd command center now because I'm floating 600 minerals. Just after 5 minutes is a pretty good time for that. Of course, Vikings actually chew up a lot of money, so fine. Alright, we'll try to scout with our guy. Let's get that 4th gas now. Get stim. That worries me a little bit. We're going to move up, because if they're scanning my base, usually it's because they're planning to jump in with some stuff. We do see quite a lot of barracks. Alright guys, I'm going to send my Reaper to go scout to see if he's got a 3rd base or not. Alright, so we've got our army. It's going to move across the map now. Put guys on back gas. Keep building SCVs. Keep building depots.
In the rear with the gear. Uh-huh.
2nd and 3rd barracks can go up there, just wherever there's space.
SCV ready. Bad news.
We're hitting our SCVs.
Okay, very nice.
Armed and ready.
So we have to base trade here, guys. We're going to lift this off. Gonna put these guys all in auto repair. These guys as well.
Your time. This better be good.
Combat. Ready engineering at your disposal.
SCV ready.
Scanning battlefield conditions.
Bad news.
Guys back on gas.
SCV ready.
Killed the bunker.
Give us your best shot. By the numbers, boy.
It's okay if he gets a shot off.
Our base is under attack.
What's going on?
Oh, run the
Command center
SCVs
has
back
been
to the high
upgraded.
ground, guys.
Research
Put
complete.
that back up there. Alright, we have control over his natural,
Our
which
base
is good.
is under attack.
Alright.
Want a piece of me,
I
boy?
think we can float that down. Let's
Speak up.
move a tank to the low ground. Let's put a Viking out there.
Go ahead.
Once again, back on gas. And
Ready to plunder.
let's put a Viking out there. Let's get our 2 reactors. Double engineering bay.
Transformation.
Oh, it looks like his marines tried to come in from behind. So I think we got this, guys.
Combat commencing.
Alright, let's try and... It's going to try and siege in range of us. Alright, we're going to try and move forward here
Mineral field depleted.
with everything we got.
Order acknowledged. Understood.
Alright, because notice he's not really out of his base right now.
Add-on complete.
Alright. He's only on 1 base, so that's all good, guys. We got this in the bag. Lots of SCVs.
This better be good.
Mineral field we're
Gonna
done
make
with
some
the list.
medevacs, 4th and 5th barracks, +1/1 upgrades, get a depot building.
Better be ready to plunder.
We've completely mined out a mineral field.
And we can just stim, attack in. That should be that.
Yes, sir. You ready to give orders? You ready? By the number. Come on, son. Make way.
So one of the big things here was rally to the production. Similar to that Blink game earlier. GG, well played. Do not go out and fight your opponent when you cannot. This was a really good move for him, and my Reaper kind of told me that something was off, but it was advanced and I wasn't 100% sure about it. But from the barracks timing, I was like, hey, this seems kind of early for those barracks to be up. This kind of feels like a 2-base build, doesn't it? So you're going to see here, guys, I'm like, he's already got his add-ons on the way for his 2nd and 3rd barracks. My 2nd and 3rd barracks hasn't even started. So already you're like, well, you probably don't have a 3rd command center, right? This is actually a non-stim drop. So I didn't realize this was a non-stim drop. This is a very weird drop that my opponent went for. But yeah, if you know that they're delaying their 3rd command center until after 3 barracks, you often do want to play much safer. So a really simple thing that you could do here is just leave your tanks spread at your bases, maybe go for a bit of light Raven harassment if you want. But we could have just sat at home here saying, guess what? I know your 3rd command center is going to be later than mine. I don't need to move out. And that would be the safer way to do this. So if you guys struggle in these sort of scenarios, just remember that's like a really simple thing you can do, right? There we go. Game versus 3 racks before 3rd CC. Safe option is to just stay at home, siege across all your bases, and maybe do some light Raven auto turret harass. But otherwise, just macro up to 3 base, right? In this case, I still went for my attack since I knew I could hit pre-stim. So even if they have a lot of Marines, they're shit Marines. When the drop hits, I had nothing at home. So what did I do, guys? So I had to respond very quickly. What did I do? Rally to high ground, pull back SCVs, lift command center, make sure producing more units, siege tank in very conservative position. So we gave up mining temporarily, but we protected our production. Now, why did we protect my production? Because I could lose this game. If those Marines went straight, if he went and unloaded on my production, I have to pull my army back here. Because otherwise, what am I going to do? How am I going to defend? And I thought these were Stim Marines. What can I possibly... I have to, like, bring every SCV to surround them? Lose my entire economy in the process? You don't want to be fighting Medevac Stim Marine with a bunch of SCVs, right? So we pull back.
Ready to plunder.
We build more units, Marines, tanks, Vikings, while my army moves forward. I'm a little slow to queue up those extra units. You can see I'm not producing Vikings, tanks, or Marines right now because I was still kind of processing. And the Vikings start working the medevacs. I tell the SCVs to repair to save the command center. Where is the production, man, dude? So I effed up on the production pretty badly because I was like, I gotta go do damage at the same time. I definitely should have been building some siege tanks, Marines, Vikings during that. You can see I start to do it now after realizing, there's no reason to walk into a bunker. I've got Ravens, he doesn't. So I can take my time with this. Then I reestablish control of the natural. I'm building some more units. I'm like, okay, we're all good. And we take a single tank shot. We land a matrix. We land another matrix there. We decide to kill those Marines just using an auto turret from the low ground. And that, of course, is fantastic for me. Now, he does come back in and force me to lift again. But he pulls back, and then we just move a siege tank down there. Reestablish control. I've got control over him. These guys do not need to push in further. They can if they want to. But because we're a bit disorganized, we're like, build barracks, make engineering bays. You know, you want to focus on all that other stuff that you know you've been ignoring. And I do end up doing a nice little matrix there and then blasting that tank. But we didn't need to do this move. But you can see it checkmates it. Definitely should have been building more SCVs behind this, though. The fact that I wasn't producing SCVs shows my macro is still a bit disorganized. Pig, when you were lifting and landing your natural command center, did you have any idea in your head where his army was? Base trade rules are pretty fuzzy to me. I mean, I knew all of his army was at home. I knew he couldn't have dropped out of his base. But when I sent it back down, like in this scenario, because it's just a drop on its own, I know his army's very unlikely to be on the map. If so, why would he be attacking the front with a drop just ahead of his army? Makes no sense, right? So his army's going to be at home. It's a really good question, by the way. At this point, I figured his drop was going home to help flank me. But I knew it could easily come back in here as well. And I just figured, I'll just go back down there. Which you could definitely argue is a bit unnecessary. I could have just waited for the extra tank to come out. And I also could have moved that tank down to this ledge to be covering it a little bit more as well. So he gets a bunch of damage there because I was being greedy with that. But I'm not too upset with that move. I'm like, yeah, I thought, you know, 50% chance he's going home. We get our natural mining that whole time. So not too big of a deal. Alright guys, we got ourselves a Terran versus Zerg. This will be the last one of today's Bronze to GM. And guess what? Fully funded Masters one. So thank you everyone who's been dropping down here by the live streams and supporting. This Bronze to GM did kind of lose a bit of support and momentum, of course, as we talked about in our previous episodes. Just basically due to me having a few events that interrupted the schedule. But most of all, it was just because we spent way too long in Bronze and Silver League. Trying to teach you guys everything and show so many different scenarios, but realistically, it isn't until Gold you start get to see a bit more fun variation and weird things that you need to learn to react to, which is where people really start to pick up a lot of stuff. Bronze Silver is like, it's almost like here's the build, Bronze Silver. Okay, now we're in Gold. People are starting to do some weird things that we have to kind of get used to reacting to the weird interactions with the opponent. Platinum, there starts to be a bit more of that, and Diamond, it starts to really kick up a notch where you're just dealing with, you know, a very well-rounded game of StarCraft where anyone who's made it to Diamond is really quite good at the game, and it makes things really interesting. So we are playing a TVZ, which means this SCV scouts for the hatchery timing and then comes back. Let's make sure I actually look at this game. I sometimes get lazy and forget to actually check and just kind of assume it's a hatchery first when it's a not. Orbital Reaper. And grab another SCV. Forgot to rally it down there to build the orbital.
Yeah, whatever. Huh?
Just making sure those are nicely rallied. Build the depot into the factory. And Marine queues up. SCV and Mule. Alright, let's take a look. Reaper popping out, hatchery finishing, guys. That's exactly what we want. Fantastic. We're going to be building a factory there.
Who wants some? You gonna give me
Oh,
orders?
Overlords in the natural. Oh, hello. Oh, we got a drone kill, guys. That's nice. So he tried to send his drone out a little bit late.
Got something for me to kill.
Alright, we're just going to back away with the Reaper now, guys.
What's going on? Yeah. This better be good.
If you want to kill the Overlord, guys, you potentially can. Just want to make sure you start a step like this a little bit to get out in front of it. Now I can just leave it, and it'll keep attacking on its own. The AI is a little bit dumb, so units will automatically be a bit derpy when it comes to figuring that stuff out on their own. They'll kind of wait till they're out of range of the unit, stand there, and then go, hey, it's time to attack again. And they'll go, oh, I can't reach it. And that's the moment when they'll decide to actually move forward, rather than moving forward in between their shots, like, you know, an intelligent person would do. 2 Hellions on the way. At the tech lab.
Command center has been upgraded.
2 dudes on gas, and we can get some SCVs and mules. I'm just going to try and check for a third base. It is 3 minutes 30, so I could lose this to Ling, so I'm just keeping my eye on the Reaper while tapping the production hotkey to build a few more SCVs.
Add-on is up and running.
And is there a third base? Yes, there is. So we're going to go back now. Get those Hellions. And come forward, try to snipe some creep. Liberator's going to rally to that top side of the map.
This better be.
We can build a few more SCVs. Make an orbital as well. Having 18 or 19 or 20 workers is totally fine. Because remember, those are the guys you're going to be using to build buildings a lot of the time. Speaking of which, last 2 Hellions, guys. Let's get these 2 barracks.
Yeah, whatever.
And most importantly, keep building SCVs. Can't be missing that. See if we can find a creep
Command center has
tumor
been
or some
upgraded.
drones.
On the way.
Right, we got a Zergling, that's something.
Yeah, baby. Ready to race?
Alright. More SCVs here, guys. Control group the Liberator, and you guys know what we do. Double engineering bay into the second depot. And then he's going to go in the main, because that is Gary, remember. More SCVs and mules. Hellion. Okay, so the Lib's going to fly in,
As you say.
and then try and siege like so. Behind this, we do need extra reactors. There's stim. Could have made that reactor a bit earlier. You can remember to make that the moment the unit comes out. It's way better. The Liberator. Bring these guys to the inside of the wall. Start 1-1. Raise it. And let's try to attack down here. Lots of SCVs queuing up, guys, while my Hellions try to get in there. That's a lot of Zerglings, guys, so we're going to just run away, run away. Maybe we can kill the hatchery, maybe. Family nest is there. Yeah, we're just going to run back. No worries. Guys on gas.
Add-on complete.
Extra barracks go down. Go there. Alright, let's get that extra reactor, shall we? Yeah.
Add-on is up and running. We're returning fire.
Alright, Liberator's finally going to get cleaned up. That's alright. You guys know I don't like to over-micro that because I feel it's cheating.
Go ahead. What's it worth? Been waiting. What's going on?
Alright.
This better be.
Forgot about Gary and Bruce, guys.
Gangway. Coming.
Lots of these guys. Okay. F2 there. Reactor. And now it's time for, guys, the famous 6, 7, 8 racks and the armory. Dude. Shout out to YouTube comments. What a legend. Yeah. It is actually such a nice chunk to put those two together. Getting trained in my own Bronze to GM.
SCV ready.
Combat shields on the way. Oh, hello.
On the way.
This ain't worth it, mate. Nah. And this is the advantage of keeping those Hellions alive, guys, because those Lings are very scary otherwise. Notice I put a few Widow Mines out on the map just for a bit of map control. Alright, we're gonna wall off that side. And then that side in a little bit. 3 tech labs. Let's get concussive. And we can go for that as well. So guys, remember we do want drops to happen. So let's try and actually do a double drop I think it was really hard to get across the map today, and that's part of the reason. Because my opponent did some really nice
Add-on complete.
kind of ling movement with that attack. I'm going to do this. I'm a little low on gas this game, so we're going to take this. I'm just going to stim and click that on the Overseer. It's a speed Overseer, though, so I don't think I can do much. We are a little oversaturated in the main, so we can just rally on the gas. Now we can get this going. All right. Control Shift click the SCVs. Come to the front. Whee! Uh-oh. Okay, these guys are just going to unload and attack from there.
Armed and ready.
Bring these Marines back.
Talk to me.
By the
Alright, we did get 2-2 started, right? Yeah. Alright. Looks like he's attacking down there, guys. So we're going to go out there and try and greet him.
armed and ready. We could use some help here.
Our base is under hitting our SCVs.
Alright, let's go back. Did we defend it? Not yet.
Mineral field depleted.
Get back in the corridor. Building a lot of SCVs. Gonna rally these guys back to gas. Oh, these guys actually did crazy damage. Awesome. Just gonna try and clear up the creep a little bit. Okay. Ooh, so how much damage did I take there, guys? Not much. That's the power of using camera locations. Oh, hello. Okay, these guys are gonna go drop up there. I'm gonna try and drop down there because he's kind of doing a bit of like a jumping on me sort of stuff. I'm also gonna build a bunker there. I just feel like this guy's so good with his aggression and his constant attacking and stuff that we're gonna really be struggling to
Upgrade
defend.
is ready for use.
Now, these SCVs are very prompt, guys, but we're just trying to run them away. It looks like they're okay.
Upgrade complete.
Gonna kill that top base there. Really well done. Let's get 3-3. We're already on 2-2. Verse 1-1. These guys apparently were not in that.
Where's the emergency?
3-3 starts. Select. You guys go there. Cool. I'm gonna be such a better... Oh! I forgot to rally those 8 racks. Dude, guys, this is actually one of those things. If you have a problem like this that you keep doing over and over again, sort it the heck out. Go in an empty custom game, build those 6, 7, 8 barracks 8 times in a row until you frigging remember to actually rally them. Because that's inexcusable. Now, guys, remember Alt plus repair hotkey to turn them on auto repair, and we're repairing up those walls. We can grab a few Marines, dump them there. Okay, sweet. Let's move across this map. Pick up. And then just pull up, drop up there. We're going to push down the bottom. These guys are going to try to run in. We're going to try and set up a bit of a parade in the middle. Okay. Did I not get concussive, guys? Hydra was able to just walk away from me.
Our base is under attack.
Oh. Let's try and repair this wall if we can.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
These guys are doing damage. What about over here? Alright. We don't actually have enough medevacs to pick all of these up, guys. This is a bit of a dangerous move, but I'm going to try and just click the hatchery and run away. You want to kill the queens first because they can transfuse? Okay. We're not going to get a chance to kill the hatchery, I don't think, are we? Alright, I'm control clicking the Marines. We're ready. Remember, if you don't control click on screen like I did unless you have insanely good mouse accuracy. Instead, use the bottom wireframe. Control click on the Marines there. So you A move, control click the Marines, pull them back. Yeah. You can see how we microed them way better like that. And we just let the Marauders sit up front, and it works really well. Alright guys, we're going to F2, shift A move to those Widow Mines in the front. Take gases, take gases. Why am I taking gases? The only reason we're taking gases there is purely just so we don't have to do it later. That's the only reason, okay?
Upgrade is ready for
Get
you.
armor, we've got 3-3. And now we should be able to just push up the middle for the win, okay? Let's try and move these Widow Mines forward.
Been waiting on you.
Gotta keep moving these forward. Oh. Let's run the Marines back, guys.
Command center has been
Oof.
upgraded. Command center has been upgraded.
And if we can kill that base to the bottom, that's kind of the last bit of economy that he's got. So get on top of the drones there. And I'm watching up here because that's obviously what we're worried about. Notice we are doing a little bit faster stutter step now. I've been kind of slowly leveling that stutter step up, whereas before I'd be like, you know, like, let me just grab a pack of Marines and show you guys the difference in the speed.
10-4.
It's just a rhythm exercise. Don't click so fast that you're spazzing out. Before I was kind of doing it like this, where I'd be like, shoot. And I'd kind of get probably often 2 shots off with the Marines before I'd move, whereas now I'm like,
Mineral
shoot,
field
move,
depleted.
shoot, move, shoot, move.
Looking forward to it.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
Yes, sir. Outstanding.
And you see how you can actually glide through their base. Now, I like to do right-click A move. People often ask me, can't you just stop? Right-click stop command, right-click stop command, right-click stop command? You can. That's what I'm doing now. I'm not used to doing it. I don't like doing it. Just out of habit, I do it the other way. I don't know what any issues are with it. You'd need to ask someone that actually uses it, but I think it's okay. Technically, you don't have to do the coordination of going A-click. I like A-click because I use it to target things. So if I'm trying to shoot down an Ultralisk in their army, I'm going A-click, A-click.
Completely mined out a mineral field.
Because that way, if I misclick on the ground, my army isn't going to
A
move
Vespi
command.
geyser's been tapped
Whereas
out.
if you're trying to click on, say, that Ultralisk scenario that I
Nothing left
gave
in
you,
that mineral
and you
cluster.
misclick right next to it, your units all run to that point in the ground and get killed.
Roger that.
But yeah, that was fun. I mean, ZVT in general, I think, is a really fun matchup if you can put these Widow Mines out and stuff like that. If your opponent's attacking you and harassing you a lot, though, one of the biggest things you can never get good enough at is just backing the heck off the third base when you need to, right? Like, just back the heck off it. If they're swarming over you, just pull those SCVs away. And we already did that once this game, didn't we? Just grab those SCVs, click them back to your natural, and that's huge. I think the double drop was a really good idea this game, guys. I think the moment you get medevacs, sending a drop out there to go and pressure your opponent, just to give them something else to worry about is great. I think this was a huge mistake moving outside of my wall with such a small set of units, and this really cost me. I'm actually quite lucky that this didn't go any worse. Like, it's... Luckily, he didn't have melee, and I had +1 armor, plus medevac ceiling, so the lings weren't doing that much damage. And he didn't defend his third at all, because he was so focused on the front, which worked out really well for me. We also have this little corner, which you can always hide your units in, which is really nice. But just grab the workers, run them to your natural whenever your third's in trouble. If you get the habit of that, it's so much easier with camera locations, because it's third camera location, box workers. Second camera location, right-click workers. You can even control group them so that it's easier to send them back to mining if you want, and it makes such a big difference. So yeah, as stressful as some of these moments were, you can see this was getting me way, way ahead. And at no point did I feel the need to just shove for the win suddenly, because that's where Zerg can get really good fights. But we just have a drop active, we have a main army active. I did send these guys across separately just because I felt he's pinning me, but he's taking so much damage to the other drop. If I send a second one out, I think he'll fall apart and take crazy damage to that. So I was like, oh, that'll be awesome. So that bunker's maybe not the best placement, but it is what it is. And you can see we're doing more and more of the clumping up and trying to kind of run in, do damage, pick up, fly out of there. Run in, do damage, pick up, fly out of there. And this one's the one where you can see I stutter step the Marines a bit more hardcore here. Notice the way we're stutter stepping really quick. That's the fastest stutter step that we've done all Bronze to GM so far, that one there. But that's really good micro. Does the lag impact you playing on US West? You can adjust to any lag, guys. Anything under 200 ms, you can just get used to it. Once you get to about 220, it becomes very annoying. But yeah, I'm playing with like 140 maybe, something like that. I'm in the replay now, so it's 0 ping. But when I was in game, probably about 140, something like that. Used to be 160. As long as it's stable, then it's fine. People are saying no tanks. Definitely tanks can be nice versus the Hydras. So Hydras can cause problems, but because they kind of get their butt kicked by Bio, it's actually kind of fine. If the game went on, you could definitely mix tanks in and stuff. There's an interesting dance where if they come forward with just the Hydras at first, you need to kind of run a clump of Bio forward to fight them. But then when the Ling Bane engages, you want to fall back and spread again. It gets very fancy. Definitely tanks make your life a little bit easier in terms of just outranging the Hydra Bane and really saying, you need to come and fight me. So as the game goes on, you can definitely do that. Because we're so focused on the micro and the engagements, notice that I'm on one factory all game, guys. I've not even been building a second factory. We're just making 2-2, making 3-3. We're just attacking it, and then gradually, not even very quickly, we're barely focusing on expanding, but just slowly we start expanding. And it's all just about basically using the biomine in an effective manner and attacking with multiple manners. Yeah. Tanks makes more sense with 8 racks though. Mine is about who has more map control and expands faster. It's like creep versus mine spread. It's better for a one-directional push, but it doesn't teach you multitasking. And you can still play 8 racks biomine play where you're overwhelming. You just have to overwhelm in multiple angles, right? It's like in TVP, you can be kind of on a lower economy versus a Colossus player, but as long as you attack multiple areas, you can do really well. So definitely at pro play, you'll normally see siege tanks with this sort of style to really force them to fight into your giant army of Marines. It's like they often won't even build the tech labs, right? It's just mass Marine and siege tank, very glass cannon. But I think with us, because we're not really playing optimal StarCraft, even at my peak MMR, I think it's totally okay to play this way because the 8 racks simply allows you to get aggressive momentum. The thing is, this is not 8 racks with no add-ons. This is 8 racks Marauder, and we're not delaying our 4th that long. We're not rushing it by any means. We could definitely get it a little earlier, but yeah, you've actually got decent progression with this style. And siege tanks they're good, but it's just a different way of playing. And I was like, look, we're going to Diamond. We need to teach you guys how to play drops, how to multi-prong, how to play biomine, because these are such good styles and such important styles. And so many Zergs hate playing against this. So many Zergs lose their shit playing against this. So I really thought it was important we show you guys this. I think it's really good for learning it. With like the first games in the first part of Diamond were like really tough, and then the moment we started playing 8 racks, it just gave us enough army to really dictate the fights. We always had enough units at our rally to defend all the run-bys. We always had enough army on the front to make it kind of cost inefficient for the Zerg to fight. But whenever we weren't playing 8 racks, it just was harder to make that work. You can't F2A as Zerg when Terran goes biomine. Exactly. That's what you're looking to punish in many ways. Yeah. You don't want to stay just on biomine forever for sure. I think ideally you'd drop 2 more factories with tech labs and start building tanks. You'd keep building mines on one, but you'd get drilling claws, double tank production, and then you would be able to like have a mixture of tank biomine, and that's a really nice way to set up pushes on ledges and stuff. The only problem is if they get to like Vipers and start abducting and blinding cloud the tanks, it's a bit nasty, but luckily most players are pretty shit at handling Vipers.